So, all blessings to all of you. I hope today, were you seated all the time here or were you outside alone? Okay. So, just like myself, when I first met Bhante and he told, now I'm alone in my kuti and you also be alone. That was his instruction to me. So I'm trying to simulate the same experience. So you're getting a jungle experience. It's not a baby experience. This is what's the point me coming to you all. And I think you have the potential. Otherwise we are not meeting. So that same that determination and relaxation, these two have to be together. And now first day, tomorrow, just little have patience for tomorrow. And from tomorrow, I won't say tomorrow is really the best, but the day after tomorrow, you just try to hang on, okay? So today I had to cover something for you all. It's my book, I think. Problem is I feel guilty. I was out and our whole group was talking a lot, including me. So sorry, tomorrow we try, okay? And I was so in the car, okay? So I think I was thinking to my heart, I can't force sometimes some practice. I never force anyone. Even some who are coming, even to ordain and all that, I'm very, but I will, it's not easy, I don't force, but I force in another way. But just out of compassion, allow their own way for some time and then see what happens. And then because I want everyone from their own heart to make an effort. Why? I'm not interested to really push anything. And so, is everybody here? I don't know. Oh, it's your other. He's in the bathroom. The Indian gentleman.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, all right. All right. It's not easy to slow down and relax, right? I've been so fast moving in everything. And this gentleman also told me that, you are used to in a kind of a strict this thing, even the retreat. So absolutely no strictness is like kind of tough, I think. Okay, anyway, if you're really interested, this will be helpful. I hope you all went out and, kind of spread and then kept reading and all that. So it's a good opportunity, all right? And to get the feeling you're in Himalayas or in the jungle, all right? This feeling you can get, and be try that kaya gata, try to get that again and again remind to look the simple things. This continuous practice of that, and not to notice anyone else. You have to remind, especially standing for maybe lying to the dana. Just spend meditating there. Don't keep on like now. You have to try to do this. It's a good thing while you're here. Easy, all conditions are there. Feel this. This is there like a place to attain this. So that's how I did, when I had to be in Pulgastu as like you, Upasakas, waiting for dana, somebody talking, this one doing that, But you do your job, you're with the Buddha. This was not to show anybody or anything, but you try, this opportunity for you to try this path. That was the best times, I would say. I spent later many times, even month with my teacher. Those days were full Dhamma, real Dhamma. Sometimes in the dream also I have this anitya, impermanent, like, triggering of that sanya, certain way. It was a very special time. So I didn't think I ever got like that. Of course, other experiences I'm getting, but hopefully now I am getting to my old period, bringing back that old practice. So, and how many of you, now I told a page, right? like close to the half point of that page. How many of you read? I told you like did you do some little contemplation few and then you decide, because tomorrow like half day you have maybe half day you have to finish that, okay? But see, if you have time, then contemplate. So how many of you are not like done up till half? Don't worry, you can tell me. You're not good readers maybe. How many of you not done more than half? Or two half, up till half. Okay, one, two, don't worry. Then you'll have to. But did you read the suttas? Huh? Sutra kivada? Sorry? Ek ivara kara? Okay, but what about this one? The one I told? Huh? Okay, yesterday I told to finish that. No problem. No worry. Then, my God, you have to start this tonight, all right? And tomorrow also you have to start. Anybody else who has finished only the word of the Buddha? No. Who have not started with this book, red color? No? Don't worry, I am not caning you or something. I hope this is a very valuable time in your life, okay? So don't miss it. Just do this, all right? Then did you manage to read also? No? Okay. At least the book, no? Okay, I'm going to now I go to start this Skandavagga. I must tell this gentleman, they were silent, so now they will be very worried when they are with me now. I was thinking in my heart, they are silent and I'm going to talk with them. I was talking actually. So I thought, I felt guilty. This question we asked. So I'm thinking, I'm sorry, next time definitely, if I have to go out or come, I will try to practice while I'm in the car also, okay? We have to, I told you, organizers, we all have to, fall in line with this thing. We have to try to, like I have told when you're doing the work, how to practice and so on. This we'll all have to try this. We have not much time. So we must, now is the time to train properly. But I have spent so many months not talking in the jungle. Even the birds were silent in that zone. So I hope that strength will come to you all. Okay? In the middle of the jungle, the birds was very interesting. They would not make, it's like a silent zone. That's where I had this, like, there are like bears and snakes and all these things there. So the person who looked after, he noticed, squirrels, they make a sound, right? They eat, but they no sound. They were just taking the food. I was telling that when I sit here, I go with my conscious. He also told me we had other experiences too. So that, but for the teaching, you'll have a lot of material. Especially, some things about, like, anyway, it's not related here. The society was happening, the type of level of raga, greed, hate, delusion, how it's working. That's not a thing. You don't mix up all that. So I told you this is the main kamatahan you'll be starting. I hope you have now you have started, right? Reading and applying, and that there's not much time, then you'll have to read fast. Okay, that's all. And tomorrow, I told you walking also, one of the examples of, like a sample of my teacher, what he told us is just in the mental mind you have to think of the teaching. In the mind, you have to think of the teaching, and then time to time you have to pay attention to your steps and the present moment like that. So it's a kind of a balance, very delicate balance. All right? Too much like, how was it, my friend? Did you read or like half point or less, or how is it?
No, I'm on track.
What is that track? I want
so
to know.
Like half of the.
The one I told,
yeah.
told the place where you to read. That's like half of it. Like
Half of it.
that's fine. There's some things you try to do the real thing of, like try to think about it. Interesting ones, contemplate.
Yes, and then so particularly for the. I was working with this while walking meditation, as you mentioned. Like I was trying to contemplate. Like I only remember the two part first, like self in the form in the self. I was just trying to contemplate that, while walking and observe myself. But if there is a opportunity today in your talk to explain that all the four parts, like self as the form as the self, and then form in self.
Okay, yeah, no.
Form, like, so
Right.
It's like very kind of
These are views that can happen. Don't stick to it only. That's the good this thing you're getting used to think that you just have an idea that these are views you can have because of attachment. You can get the idea these views can come because of your attachment and because of that delusion. Okay, when you have right investigation, you are freeing yourself from these views, and your attachment also is decreasing. So these are just views that can come regarding the ego, how it's going to come. So it's idea that you will have it thinking, like I am in it. So this is subtly happening. You don't have to specifically sort of understand that. So that is just get an idea that like when you're sick, you get the idea these parts like the body, feeling, perception is mine. All right, that is sick in mind. Okay, because when it changes like that, when you have like idea that's normally we are having, we worry. Okay, we fear. Okay, in simple, that take this as sutta in a simple way. So we fear, it's like my mind changing, my body. I know somebody who had an operation or some kind of thing, I think in America we got to know, somebody who the tooth was taken out or something, commit suicide. I don't know, maybe it's a true story. And this I know about a beauty queen, or beauty in Nicosia, Cyprus. My professor, psychology professor, was like involved in counseling. So he just one time told me that he was counseling her just because a small accident. There was an accident, and then she had to have a small change in this thing. That she that so much identification is like me. So then something, some small thing, then how much you have to face now, this body is so dangerous. It can't be, so that kind of mind, you're it's very dangerous. So when that is one, that in that sutta you look like that. Then when the body is sick and mind is not sick, how is that? Then you don't take it like that, then just you have to watch yourself, and this will help, that exercise you get used to. But there are other suttas also, you must continue.
Yeah.
Don't too much, and if you get another interesting, what you feel little clear, then in the walking meditation, just read and get that slowly, the Dhamma picture. But now I tell to read by tomorrow lunchtime, the whole thing, then you'll have to rush. Don't worry about it. Okay, but one day you'll have to improve that, contemplating with that.
But one thing I observe, like, how are you telling me, like, just to make it a myself part actor in that particular sutra, like how that bhikkhu is there or how the Buddha is mentioning, it makes it very interesting, that when I'm reading about this four elements, like about form having from the head of the top of the head to sole of the feet, all these elements. So if I now start thinking, then instead of just having the word label, but now if I see within myself,
that's right, yeah.
Then it's
and the end result will be immediately that either you will find it's becoming empty or it's not me. These perceptions should arise. That's the purpose of that. You are looking in such a way that you begin to the ego or whatever you hold on to as an idea, as taking an idea like this is me, it will dissolve. That's the end result. If that's happening, then you're in the right direction of contemplating. That's the thing. That's why you see like the hard nature and all these things. Hard nature outside, for what purpose? to not to grasp this space, the thing that is in this space. For that purpose only is done, because Buddha's wisdom is to remove suffering. He has no other purpose. It's not just to find like a scientist, something, or get a Nobel Prize. It's not that. He had a lot of compassion. And with that compassion, he had the idea how to liberate the being from this. And then he got this way of wisdom to purify the mind, free from all craving, attachment, and how to do it by this wisdom. And this what we get impurified by craving, then you can break it into greed, hate, delusion of I. That's the final one. The final sin is, final klesha is a sense of I. So ego. So that reduced and annihilated means you're purified entirely. Your mind becomes purified. Sabba papa sakarana, kusala supasampada, sachitta pariyodapana, etam buddhana sasana. So all removing all the all sin, kusala supasampada is second, is developing skillful states, the samadhi, and even other teachers, they teach you to develop skillful states that is free from anger, greed and lust and all that. And sachitta pariyodapana, the purifying of the mind completely is removing the sense of the delusion of I. So that I or a super I or something is there in different, because it's associating some feeling. Wherever there is associating a feeling and a grasp of it, there will be a sense of I coming. So now who the Arahants, even when they attain Samadhi or they don't think I attain Samadhi. They see this was the cause for this to arise. And when they come out of Samadhi, they know when this is not there, this will not arise. So they are seeing cause and effect only. This explained, not that I experience it personally. Okay? So this is how, but we can, this is good for Dhamma thinking, that it is cause and effect, that it is this thing, that is the real thing. So they are always living in that, we could think that they are living in that complete, undiluted kind of awareness. He was, I was wondering, he was there in that first my trip, no? Yeah, I can't forget you until I leave this planet. So, because you were interested, I remember you found it very different also how it is done, because the sutta you would have done mostly studies, not as this was the original way. There's no other, this is the original way. And it's a little bit causing little, little this thing, but his authorities who are practicing, they would have never come to the society, they were not my teachers and all that. But then I had some karma to like this come. So, and stressing the point, this is not by just now coming today and doing it. Even that time I touched a little bit 7 years ago, right? This we touched when we were like, so 24 years back, 25 years back when I was 23 and like 18 years, we already were very familiar. But of course I had my karma to also be a solitary and doing all these things. And told when suddenly people came, of course told this, do that, read the suttas and do it like this. But it's not easy, because if you are not practiced and done it, it looks so simple and plain. So now that's why I very clearly explain there are visions that can be alone and this thing and develop purity and mindfulness and all that, and then read separately alone like that. Then you're stimulating a certain experience. It can be today, it can be tomorrow, it can be another 2 years later, but you're in the right, at least you get an idea what to do, taking this as a meditation object. Is that clear? At least, I have told a lot about it. Okay? I still feel a little guilty about, today I meditated other times, okay? I had to go out somewhere, like actually some of my old connections, yogic connections, I get some energy from that. So I tell like I got some oxygen, but it's kept little secret, okay? So you'll be very curious to now find out, I know. let's see. Right, repeat. Yesterday we read about Hadakani, okay. Let's see the time. Okay, 28, page number 28. Give the signal is one. Sorry, 28. It's called agitation through clinging. කොහොමද දන්නේ? හුදකලා වගේ නෝ ඊට ඉස්සලා සූත්‍රයක් නම. මේක ටිකක් ඉස්සරහ ගොඩක් ඉස්සරහ යන්නේ. 28 නම් 31 32 වගේ ඇති. අර හඩිදකානිකට පස්සේ 1 2 3 වෙනි එක වගේ. ඒක කෙටියෙන් දාලා දන්නේ උපාදාන. උපාදාන මොකක් හරි ඒක වෙන්න ඇති. Okay. Here the page 28. Okay, Hari. So we'll just go through this. Now, as I told you, you know already that you stay calm and relax and look at yourself from outside, and you must feel the present in-breath and out-breath naturally. That's how you are relaxed. Because I will teach you agitation through clinging and non-agitation through non-clinging. Listen to that and attend closely. I will speak. Yes, Venerable Sir. Those bhikkhus replied. The Blessed One said this. And how bhikkhus is there agitation through clinging? Here bhikkhus, the uninstructed worldling, who is not a seer of noble ones. Did all of you come to the morning? How many of you couldn't come? Okay. උදේ එන්න බැරිුණු කවර ඉන්නවද උදේ පාන්දර? අර රෙකෝඩින් ඇහුණාද? Okay, doesn't matter. එන්න බැරිුණ කටිනේ 1 2යි. කමන්නේ. 3 4යි. එකත් බලන්න, try that. That's also good, you know. The morning one has a different one with samadhi, and maybe it will break your some blockages in a different way. That's why it's created that time specially, 3 hours before the sunrise. And I'm using something that, and the recording is going on, the Metta Bhavana, how to do it, you will know from that. Okay, was it clear? Yeah. The ones, okay. So that, and then Anapanasati going to that, that's only in the morning. And that's like 1 hour you can do of that kind of practice from 6 to 12 in the morning, okay, to afternoon. Then from 12 to 6, now in the evening also 1 hour, not more. More you must do this walking, then reading mostly and covering it and trying to whatever you like contemplate. That's all, because here is a very specifically focused on to awaken, and anything blocking you in the future also for your spiritual path, to hopefully, you know, that it will. So based on the advice and also the stagnation I faced by just sticking to samadhi for so long, okay, so I believe even the samadhi is not very strong when you have less panya, wisdom. Okay, so all this will be affected. So now you are having like a big this thing for clearing all your spiritual, and material as well, because it's the great good karma, strong karma is created now. Okay, see, influencing all aspects of your life. Okay, I will tell you one example for this. Maybe you think I'm just, it's all based on a certain principle. Have you heard about King of Gods? Sakka. So King of Gods, once he was losing his lifespan and everything. Alright. So he has known the enlightened one has appeared and so on, but he never got the urge to go. But when he found some of his fairies and all that were disappearing, and his lifespan was also very near, then he went and met the Buddha. And when he met the Buddha, he questioned the Buddha, and the Buddha discoursed to him. And in that discourse, he became Sotapanna, stream entrant. What happened after that? What means stream entrant? Is getting insight to Nibbana. Okay? And maximum 7 lives only reborn. In between, he will achieve complete liberation. So, destined to achieve. So, what happened? What is that? What are those? These are suttas are also here. The sutta that was told to Sakka, you will be reading, going through that certain time. So now when you are reading this, is this not the possibility where you will also attain that? This is the same instruction, and Buddha told to make this your teacher. All right. So now even when you are trying, you are generating a lot of powerful karma, kusala karma. So it will affect what now Sakka, when he regain his lifespan as well after that pala, that fruit. Okay, that means he gain his glory, he gain his all that, and maybe he's hearing us also while we are talking now. Okay, so this all, just imagine, just health, wealth, all glory, everything was restored also to him. So this, don't think this only to Nibbana, but difficult to appreciate this and come to this. People think only thing we are going to let go everything and disappear. Okay, so of course some let going is definitely there, but let go has such a power, it gives you everything. It can, because even generosity is a part of let go, but this is the highest let go, the highest wisdom. Okay. And how bhikkhus is the agitation through clinging. But I know you all seem to be a little different, this group, I don't have to course you all too much, you all really seem to be interested in not wealth as such, but really, this I'm feeling, I don't know. You have been so earnest, I can feel this. Anyway, uninstructed worldling who is not a seer of the noble ones and unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, who is not a seer of superior persons and is unskilled and undisciplined in their Dhamma, regards form as self, or self as possessing form, or form as in self, or self as in form. You can just have a slight idea, make that exercise, you have a just body, and these views can come. That is having the idea somehow there is a self with this, so it's that form is, then when you have like that, which is normally you are having all the time, possessive form, form as in self or self as in form, that form of his changes and alters. With the change and alteration of form, his consciousness becomes preoccupied with the change of form. Agitation and constellation of mental states born of preoccupation with the change of form remains obsessing his mind. Because his mind is obsessed, he is frightened, distressed and anxious, and through clinging, he becomes agitated. He regards feeling as self, perception as self. These are very important for you to, now even the perception now, for example, feeling, perception, someone shouting to me, for example, okay, this we think is shouting to me, okay. So if you are trained like this, you will see that the perception is not mine, all right. So you have to exercise this slowly, get used to, not that you clearly realize it, but when you're doing that, you will realize something. Okay, this exercise have to be done like that. That form of, with the change of alteration of form, his consciousness becomes okay. He regards feeling as self, perception as self, volitional formation as self, consciousness as self, or self as possessing consciousness, or consciousness as self, or self as in consciousness. That consciousness of his changes and alters. With the change and alteration of consciousness, we don't take it objectively then. We now say a friend is there, suddenly he changes, okay, someone who has been loyal to you or something, all right, then you must get that idea immediately, realize that this is an experience of consciousness, and then this is not mine. You get it? If you are trained slowly, these sufferings will reduce, your reaction will reduce, okay. So this is a very powerful, even if but if you exercise this, you will even attain the highest, but even if you have some mastery, it will really give you a lot of, rather than for metta and all that, that these things look very real, and this can really show you that they are not too very much real. Consciousness becomes preoccupied with the change of consciousness, agitation and constellation of mental states born of preoccupation with the change of consciousness remain obsessing his mind. Because his mind is obsessed, he is frightened, distressed and anxious, and through clinging he becomes agitated. It is in such a way, bhikkhus, that one is agitated through clinging, and how, bhikkhu, is there a non-agitation through non-clinging? Here, bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple, who is a seer or of the noble ones and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, who is a seer of superior persons and is skilled and disciplined in their Dhamma, does not regard form as self, or self as possessing form, or form as in self, or self as in form. That form of his changes. Now this has to be slowly done actually. You have to just see, that this idea doesn't come. So like separately the body is like kept like another body. If the end result of it is like that, your own body. So with the mind. He does not regard form as self, or self as in possessing form, or form as in self, or self as in form. That form of his changes and alters. So if it's like you're looking like another body, you will not be very reactive. Despite the change and alteration of form, his consciousness does not become preoccupied with the change of form. No agitation and constellation of mental states born of preoccupation with the change of form remain obsessing his mind. Because his mind is not obsessed, he is not frightened, distressed, or anxious, and through non-clinging he does not become agitated. He does not regard feeling as self, perception as self, volitional formation as self, consciousness as self. You have to calm down and read this and perceive it. So I am trying to cover like the lesson. So these are, he does not regard feeling as self, perception as self, volitional formation as self, consciousness as self, or self as possessing consciousness, or consciousness as in self, or self as in consciousness. That consciousness of his changes and alters. Despite the change and alteration of consciousness, his consciousness does not become preoccupied with the change of consciousness. No agitation and constellation of mental states born of preoccupation with the change of consciousness remain obsessing his mind. Because his mind is not obsessed, he is not frightened, distressed, or anxious, and through non-clinging, he does not become agitated. Very similar to that other one. This is very important one, 30, page next one. Okay. I don't know the next one. Yeah. Impermanent in 3 times. අනිච්චතාවේ 3 කාලේ එම තියෙනවද ඒක? ළඟම තියෙන එතනම. page එක කීයද ඒකනේ? කට්ටිය එතනම තියෙන්නේ. Page 30 in English one. Page 30. Page 30 in the Sinhalese one. Now this is a very important way of thinking, okay? You have to also, it's good. Bhikkhu's form is impermanent, both of the past. When it's told in the short form, okay? So Anityata, Bhikkhu's form is impermanent, both of the past. Okay? You have to picture now, even whatever, say, when you were a small child, or even few minutes ago, or few hours ago, or few, like that, whatever body that you had, even, in medical science is known, like after 1 week, you have entire different organs. All the you get new organs, because all the other old cells and everything has been this thing. So like that is continuously, not being in one body. Like body has changed from, it has arisen, it has formed something, and then it has died, and then this thing has formed. So in the previous, it has never, no moment where a body part has, or any form has, sort of started to grow and didn't start to decay. Okay, so this you have to slightly really think that every body experience few minutes ago, or even it was subject to time, even in the past. So just think that is a definite, it was going to, it has sort of changed. Both of the past and the future. So like whatever you will experience, like whatever the body that will arise in the future, it will definitely pass away. Not just to say it, you have to really think, just think to yourself like, will there be something body, or a meeting like this, for example, tomorrow we'll meet, and do you think tomorrow meeting this meeting will be forever? Today meeting, yesterday meeting, we also had one and it finished, right? And the tomorrow meeting will definitely end too, right? It seems so obvious and simple, but it must become more conscious in your wisdom. පොත තියෙනවද හම්බුණාද? number 9 කියන්නේ වෙන මොකක් හරි print එකක්ද?
Number 9 සූත්‍ර. Page 30.
Okay, right, number 9, yeah. ඔක්කොම ලේකට නිවන් දකින්න බෑ නේද? හැබැයි දන්න අයත් එක්ක අයින් වෙන්න ඕනේ. මේ රිට්‍රීට් එකේ දන්න අයත් එක්ක විශේෂයෙන්ම අයින් වෙලා වගේ ඉන්න ඕනේ නැත්තම් ඒක අමාරුයි. Who are known to you must try to separate in this retreat. That otherwise who known එක මේක කල්ලි බැඳගෙන යන්න බෑ. නෑ ඒක important ඒක අර තනි වෙලා එහෙම දන්න අයම avoid කරනවා. ආස හිතන අයම අයින් වෙන්න ඕනේ. Who you like, you feel attracted, you must avoid. Who you what is this like this is a person who is trying to remove attachment, cling, who is serious about it. Then only this will create the supreme non-attachment by a supreme experience. You have to pay a price for this. It won't come just like, I don't want to tell like this, don't now expect tomorrow I'll see this or that, but you have created a path. Just relax and at least you will look shiny, I hope. After 4 or 5 days, you should be. That or at least 5-10 years younger. Both of the past and the future, not to speak of the present. Now, this is a very important way of analyzing. You have to mentally get that in the past this has arose and passed away. In the future, what will arise will definitely pass away. Then what to say of this moment we are experiencing? Then so we will not get attached to the present moment. It's an exercise you have to. Seeing thus because the instructed noble disciple is indifferent towards form of the past. He does not seek delight in form of the future, and he is practicing for revulsion towards form of the present, for its fading away and cessation. Feeling is impermanent, perception is impermanent, volitional formations are impermanent, consciousness is impermanent, both of the past and the future, not to speak of the present. Seen thus because the instructed noble disciple is indifferent towards consciousness of the past. So we will not plan and really think one day I'm going to build this and stay like that. All that deluded delusion, this thing will fade away if you practice. Or I don't know how to say this, even some dwelling externally and some place, a lot of people think like this, because they are not, I feel, having the impermanent perception enough. If that is their dwelling place will be this vision of impermanence. This is something I think, that's real, very fast now. Even Attanagalla, where they made this thing, okay, the trust is there, and I will never think of, I will try to activate the vision and maintain my vision also until I die. And I think my body is my monastery. I'm thinking like this. I saw my teacher to the end of his life, so if it's going to be a hindrance, as a duty to the sasana, okay, definitely, but never in the expense of my, actually, even I would not, I don't think. So, it's very important. If you get this properly, your value, your real gem will be this. That's the thing that is going with you in the samsara, or protecting you or keeping you protected, so that you don't cling or attach too much, and then that detachment is your dwelling. It should be like that. Then you can be in the monasteries, you can be in the hotels or house or whatever, but you take it, as a thing with that wisdom that you are not this thing. We need these things actually, but of course we must know. We must quickly, come out of this and be fearless. And there are a lot of things. I made research also after death. What will happen to anyone who has a lot of attachment? How much we look outside like sacred or very pure or whatever, or done so many deeds of good deeds and did this and that. It's a very different equation in the other side. We have to really, with nature we have to be, really, this is not the time to explain that, but in the programs I explain those things. So then, not to speak of the present. Seeing thus because the instructed noble disciple is indifferent towards consciousness of the past, he does not seek delight in consciousness of the future, and he is practicing for revulsion towards consciousness of the present, for its fading away and cessation. The next one, at Savatthi, bhikkhus form is suffering, both of the past and the future, not to speak of the present. Seeing thus bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple is indifferent towards the form of the past. He does not seek delight in the form of the future, and is practicing for revulsion towards the form of the present, for its fading away. In this case, it's not impermanence, it is seeing form in the past. Why is it? When impermanence is definitely there, there is suffering definitely. Now you will have a sad feeling, painful feeling in the past, okay? But it finished, all right? That is okay. Then after that, what do you get? Maybe a happy feeling, a good feeling, all right? Is the happy feeling a good feeling, a never changing feeling? So it's a definite change. There's a definite change in the feeling. Then when there is a definite change in the feeling or end of the feeling, there's an end to the feeling, then what? And before the feeling is even arising, it will rise and end. Will that feeling will it be happiness then? More you will enjoy that, the suffering will be more because of that enjoyment. More you will be able to not to experience it, then there will be zero suffering. It comes like beyond boredom is suffering, Like someone has sensually enjoyed something and after it's not there, you feel so bored. Like even in the movies, I remember when I was a young kid, suddenly my parents used to take to like cinema, all right? So there after the movie, when the lights, the lights go, they on the lights and, everybody looking at their faces like they were in another world and, of course some memory of the what happened and all that, it works. But you would like to be in that world of, that action or whatever. So we have got used to this suffering, that's the thing. We would say we have got used to, so we don't know higher freedom or higher kind of realization where we can, remove the root of this. Otherwise, just we are patching up our suffering. Patching up with pleasure and going on like that. Okay. 31, next page. Bhikkhu's form is, next page, the same one, the following the next sutta. Non-self is in the 3 times. Bhikkhu's form is non-self, both of the past and the future, not to speak of the present. So you have to put this, like you have to put it in the mind. These are really suttas where you must slowly, you must put it to the past and see it was never self, was never a person there in the experience. Okay? So in the future also, if it arises, there won't be me there. It's only, there never. So then even now what we are experiencing, then how can there be me? Followed by that perception of past, perceiving about the past, how things arose and, or not arose, as that's not mine. And then if the future also, it was not going to be mine. And in the present, definitely it's not mine. Then what I'm now experiencing in sight, with sight or sound or hearing or whatever. Feeling is non-self. Perception is non-self. Volitional formations are non-self. So you can just little drop off. If someone shouted and you remember, okay, oh he shouted, and still you have the memory of someone tortured you maybe. Okay, now you know it. Where it's never me. I was not there. Will it not really clear you now? Only you're starting here, but when you go, little something will hit you, and that will really remove all your even hidden sort of sadness or worries and fears and So this is purifying your vision or view from wrong view to right view. Sometimes when you shout alone to somebody, you think it's real, but it's some madness in you. Sometimes verbally, mentally, I'm sorry, scold somebody, he did this, he did that, but then you realize, oh, I'm talking to myself. Right? So it's anger, and so it's like that, it never exists there. Another way how to see consciousness is like, they say like the dog looking into a well, okay? So with the water down there, he sees another dog, it sees another dog, and it barks, okay? He really thinks, and then he goes there and he's in the mind, he thinks there's a dog inside. So same way actually our experiences when I turn here or there, that's gone, finished. And they're conditionally arising. And so, but because we are not trained or look like, we don't see things like that, so we take it very real. Is that clear? Oh, your minds got very tired now during reading the whole day. Oh. මෙහෙම රූපයක් තියෙනවා එළියෙන්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ මොනවාද? ඇස සම්බන්ධවනේ. ඒක අරමුණක්නේ. ඒ ඇහැයි මේ ඇහැයි මේ පාවිච්චි වෙලා ඇහැයි අරමුණක් කියලා ගමුකෝ. ඒක පාවිච්චි වෙලා අපේ ඇත්තටම අර විඥානේ කර්මානුරූපව මොන හරි රැස් කරපු සංස්කාර අනුව අපි ඒක ගන්නවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි ඒක ගන්නවා ගොඩක් විට පෙර ආත්ම භවයේ ඇසෝෂියේට් කරපු විදියට තමයි ඒක ගන්න. හරි මන් දන්නවා කොයි රූපේ දැන් පංචඋපාදානස්කන්ධද පංචඋපාදානස්කන්ධ රූපේ කියලා ගන්න ඕනේ මේ ඇහැයි අර බාහිරින් එන ආලෝකය අරවම තියෙන ඔබ්ජෙක්ට් ඒ ටික ඔක්කොම රූප ඒක ධාතු කොටස් වර්ණ සංඥාව ඔව් වර්ණ ඒ එකතු වෙලා සංඥාව පස්සේ එන්නේ ඒක විඥානෙට එන එකක් ඔව් ලයිට් ආලෝකය තව තව ආලෝකය වදලා ආලෝකයේ මෙන්න තව තියෙනවා මොන වායු ගෝලයේ එහෙම දේවල් ඒ ටික තමයි රූපේ වෙන්නේ. එක්ක දැන් තදංග වශයෙන් හයිය වශයෙන් තියෙන මේක මෙතන අඳුරගන්නේ ඔක්කොම වෙලා එනකොට ඒක විඥානයේ වෙන දෙයක්. තේරෙනවද නේද ඒක? ඒකනේ සමහරට reaction I tell sometimes I don't know I'm sorry this one I tell always like the ear doesn't get angry, the tongue doesn't taste. So it is our consciousness and the feelings and it's a mental factors. So this is very important sometimes to separate even in your walking meditation to recognize this, to notice this. In the mind only you notice, doesn't mean you notice suddenly මේ මෙතන දකින්නවා කියලා. ඒක විඥානය තුළ වෙන එකක් කියන එක හිතෙන් වැටහීමකින් ඉන්නවා. Page number 33, this very important one, very important, good one. Now we are coming to something, the Buddha thinking, the Buddha way of thinking, the Arya thinking for vipassana, for insights. Page 33. අනිත්‍ය මේ හේතුවකින් කියලා වගේ මොකක් කරනවද? ඉම්පර්මනන්ට් එකේ ඒකේ හතරවෙනි සූත්‍රය වගේ හතර පහ සූත්‍රය යදා නිච්ච ඒක තමයි ඒක බලන්න in the 33p impermanent with a cause Bhikkhu's form is impermanent. බලන්න මේ content එක හරිද කියලා. Bhikkhu's form is impermanent. The cause and condition for the rising of form is also impermanent. As form has originated from what is impermanent, how could it be permanent? We know in other suttas, the Buddha has explained what is the cause of form. One is food, another is karma. Okay, so the karma and the food is a changing thing definitely. So what arises from that has to be impermanent. Now it's also with inference. Okay, this is the thing you have to learn, in the Buddha's contemplation. So I'm sometimes telling you like some of, because that will be a more wise, deep wisdom you will get. There's a standard of wisdom you have to get to attain, what you call it, path and fruit. All right. So for that purpose, you have to slowly. Now there are so many suttas coming like that. That it's not an impermanence you see somewhere very gross way. Okay, sometimes feelings, it's a gross way. even a touch of the leg even, do it for a little while, not too long, just to be in the present moment, but get that more analyzing, contemplating, what is this, like Einstein or Newton, when the apple fell down, this kind of thinking we have to bring. Okay? You get it? I hope that's called Yoniso Manasikara, real Yoniso Manasikara, which is the factor of Sotapanna, stream entrant. That type of, the Yoniso means from the source you think. So it is harnessed, or it is developed when you also develop Samadhi separately. Because when the mind is free from hindrances, then that can happen very easily. That can happen very easily. So you don't try to understand, try to, this is not, this one small thing can trigger. So just, that's very important. You must never try to force to understand. If you have too much desire to experience this, it will not happen. Just do the thing. One day in a very unexpected moment, then suddenly, this is it, like that you'll get. So you have to keep yourself pure also, because that will obstruct your actual experience through your conscious. At least some glimpses will happen, definitely. That will inspire you, encourage you. You know, that's why I told this is a magic book. It's not just because it has now kept, people are not practicing, not realizing anything from this. So it's kept in the shelf. Okay, I do not here, I mean, even Sri Lanka and all these places. Unfortunate. And then they think other things are important. My God, at least still we have the chance to take it out and make use of it. This is rocket science to liberation. The manual and the whole thing is there. Okay. Because form is suffering, the cause and condition for the arising of form is also suffering. As form has originated from what is suffering, how could it be happiness? So what is impermanent? Food and karma is impermanent. Therefore, it's also suffering. But everything that will arise it has the potential of definitely bringing suffering. So because of that, what is formed from that will definitely bring suffering. As form has originated from what is suffering, how could it be happiness? Feeling is suffering, perception is suffering, volitional formations are suffering, consciousness is suffering, the cause and condition for the rising of consciousness is also suffering. As consciousness has originated from what is suffering, how could it be happiness? Because form is non-self, the cause and condition for the arising of form is also non-self. Just I'm getting some picture being in America, I think. I'm sure the CID is not here. Because it's George Bush, there are two, brother, one son and father, right? And he was very, I think I got to know like involved with nature and all that, or what, flying and anyone knows, parachuting and I don't know, something like this. But very active person, active president. So if someone looked from here, think, oh, it's a wonderful, he's having everything in the material world, and even also as a leader and all that. But just imagine the person who, whatever they're experiencing, if he indulge in that, when he's quite old and unable to do that, how much suffering he must be experiencing, the person. If you had a personal, this thing, if he was really enjoying and attached to that, when inability to do that. So do you think that anyone who is experiencing that will never face that decaying process and so on? So just it's going to be, unless he has this knowledge and become dispassionate, then he will not be affected. And so are you not doing that now? It will be very helpful. Because form is non-self, the cause and condition for the rising of form is also non-self. As form has originated from what is non-self, you can feel also, like the food, for example, externally, you keep it. There's nothing in it, just some material. Okay? So it is actually very out and very clear, it looks, that's not you. Okay? Because you is created by your mind, it's not that it's there in anything. So then you put it in and it creates what is not you. It can't create something that means it's all based on the change. The anitya. That's why with the impermanent awareness realization, all other things follow. More the impermanent realization is there, no self is also very clearly seen. Realized, seen is not a good thing. With that wisdom eye is realized. I think some things have been declined. I'm sorry, 35. It's the next page, like from the one you first last. You don't need that. 35 itself. Sinhala 35, English is 35. Because I will teach you the burden, the carry of the burden, and the taking up of burden, and the laying down of burden. Listen to that. And what bhikkhus is the burden? It should be said the 5 aggregates subject to clinging. What 5? The form aggregate subject to clinging, the feeling aggregate subject to clinging, the perception aggregate subject to clinging, the volitional formation aggregate subject to clinging, the consciousness aggregate subject to clinging. This is called the burden. And what bhikkhus is the carrier of the burden? It should be said the person, this venerable one of such a name and clan, this is called the carrier of the burden. And what bhikkhu is the taking up of the burden? It is this craving that leads to renewed existence, accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here, there, that is craving for sensual pleasures, craving for existence, craving for extermination. This is called the taking up of the burden. And what bhikkhu is the laying down of the burden? It is the remainderless fading away and cessation of that same craving. The giving up and relinquishing of it, freedom from it, non-reliance on it. This is called the laying down of the burden. So you have a little bit mental exercise, put it to yourself. Whatever name has given to you and all that is for these khandhas. People recognize you, the way you react, your personality is created, and all these things, they are related to these khandhas. And so you have to put it to yourself a little bit like that. It's a nice sutta. Delight. 39, page number. I think delight. Can't think any. Because one who seeks delight in form seeks delight in suffering. One who seeks delight in suffering, I say, is not freed from suffering. One who seeks delight in feeling, in perception, in volitional formations, in consciousness, seeks delight in suffering. One who seeks delight in suffering, I say, is not freed from suffering. One who does not seek delight in form, feeling, perception, and consciousness does not seek delight in suffering. One who does not seek delight in suffering, I say, is freed from suffering. So whenever you experience something, this word should echo to you. Maybe tasting a food. When you indulge, you will know that when I am allowing this, actually directly and indirectly, it's going to contribute to your suffering. Okay, when you are directly now doing it, strengthens your underlying defilements, latent tendencies. It's not going to decrease your pleasures or your craving. Craving internally going to increase. All right. So because of that, your level of getting irritated, feeling sleepy, and feeling all the the mind with hindrances will also increase simultaneously with that. Okay. So and the other one very important is for good for this thing. Bhikkhus, the arising, the next sutta. Because the arising, continuation, production and manifestation of form is the arising of suffering, the continuation of disease, the manifestation of aging and death. Now this is how I look at this. Say you were in Nibbana. You had no body, no feeling, nothing. Okay? So when a body, when a body arises, because the arising, continuation, production and manifestation of form, okay, the body or rupa, when it arises even from the mother's womb, they are all with there's a body only you can get what? Cold, cough, cancer, tumor, all right, and the decaying process. So you have to picture from empty space or like that emptiness. If when this arises, then suffering, they will read that. Okay, this is a very nice one to really in your walking meditation. You have to get like that. You have to learn to think of the Dhamma like that. All right. From production, because the rising, continuation, production and manifestation of form is the arising of suffering, the continuation of disease, the manifestation of aging and death. Okay, so Singalekam Bunnadda? Page 40. Hataliya. Because the rising and continuation, production and manifestation of form is the rising of suffering, the continuation of disease, the manifestation of aging and death, the rising of feeling, of perception, of volitional formations, of consciousness is the rising of suffering, the continuation of disease, the manifestation of aging and death. The cessation, subsiding and passing away of form, feeling, perception and consciousness is the cessation of suffering, the subsiding of disease. So this is very important, you have to learn to get that mental picture. Okay, before you realize Nibbana also, you just idea. You say you Nibbana and it won't happen like that. So without the skandhas, how when they arise, just imagine in your mother's womb first. Okay, when it's slowly starting to, then you're getting that, so we are identifying a self in those body, feeling, perceptions we are getting after that. All right. And then we have to experience, happiness, sadness based on what the body is going through. Okay, so as a yogi, you learn to see this with wisdom and separate. Watch, keep hold of that. Like that, you learn to. This is very important. I hope This is very important. This point, how you must master slowly. Okay, when you are now in the walking meditation, you can, try. These are the ones you must try, think and establish in your mental screen. Wisdom screen. This is another one, is about wisdom. That's why Buddhism is called, like somebody said, phenomenology. I think it's a nice right thing, about cause and effect and about phenomena. The rising of feeling, the perception of volitional formation of consciousness is the rising of, okay. Okay, page number 41. Next one, it's fragile one. At the top you have fragile, okay. Okay, fragile. Because just close to that sutta, what we read already, because it's like the second after that. Because I will teach you the fragile and the unfragile. Listen to that. And what bhikkhu is the fragile and what is the unfragile? Form is fragile. Its cessation, subsiding and passing away is the unfragile. Feeling is fragile. Perception is fragile. Volitional formations are fragile. Consciousness is fragile. Its cessation, subsiding, passing away is unfragile. Okay, so again it's like you see the Nibbana is unfragile and all other things is very fragile. It can break, it will break and it can break very easily. Not yours, the second, that same one, next one. Because whatever is not yours, abandon it. When you have abandoned it, that will lead to your welfare and happiness. And what is it? Because that is not yours. Form is not yours, abandon it. When you have abandoned it, that will lead to your welfare and happiness. Feeling is not yours, perception is not yours, volitional formations are not yours, consciousness is not yours. Abandon it. When you have abandoned it, that will lead to your welfare and happiness. Suppose because people were to carry off the grass, sticks, branches and foliage in this Jeta grove, or to burn them, or to do with them as they wish. Would you think people are carrying us off, or burning us, or doing us as they wish? No, Venerable Sir. For what reason? Because, Venerable Sir, that is neither our self nor what belongs to ourself. So too, because form is not yours, feeling is not yours, perceptions are not yours, consciousness is not yours. Abandon it. When you have abandoned it, that will lead to your welfare and happiness. When this kind of sutta is practiced, very helpful when you go to a doctor's checkup. Okay? Yes. Okay, very easy. This, and you have to face some other thing, maybe even death. For this only, these things are helpful. So they are, this is very important. This mentally you have taken away, this body, feeling, perception, and so on, and less trouble, less this thing, and then you can proudly say, "I'm a Buddhist." That's a bhikkhu. No, if you have pride, then you have not realized anything, right? That's another problem. Okay. Reckon in terms of it, it is one. You're proud that you don't have pride. Something like that. Okay. Venerable said that I understand in detail the meaning of. Okay. Okay, 44, page number 44. Then the Venerable Ananda 1. Sinhala ekkamala Ananda එක. Okay. Then the Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One. The Blessed One then said to the Venerable Ananda, as he was sitting to one side, if Ananda, they were to ask you, friend Ananda, what are the things of which an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned? Being asked thus, how would you answer? Venerable Sir, if they were to ask me this, I would answer. Now this is also very important. Friends, with the form an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned. With feeling, with perception, with volitional formations, consciousness, an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned. These, friends, are the things of which an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned. Being asked thus, Venerable Sir, I would answer in such a way. Good Ananda, with form Ananda, an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned. With feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness, an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned, and an alteration of that which stands is discerned. These Ananda are the things of which an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned. Being asked thus, Ananda, you should answer in such a way. It's also a bit like the other ones, a little bit. That's very important. I mean, just to get that, you have to get used to. That's why Bhante told us to read the entire section of Kanda. He told until Radha Vagga. I have, I think, reduced it. It is because if you read only one sutta, actually there are now in other discourses where Buddha tells that Arahant to read the second time, not read those days, teach, or tell the same sutta next day. When he told next time, or maybe we might this in here, when he told the next time only they attained something. So now we are reading so many times, so maybe like talk, then tuk, it will break. Okay. So yeah, it is. That's for this is a purpose. Otherwise you get familiar. It's like getting brainwashed, but it's in a good way. But you have to get that contemplation, that's the main thing. Not like rushing, but if you can't cover, then you better rush. 5 days retreat, no? It's like you have spent like 5 years for your degrees and all that. For these 5 days, you can't expect. This is for whole samsara. The secret of this, birth and death is all in it. If you actually experience this, you will never want to touch any of this education or studies, because this happened to me actually. I don't know whether I realized it, but some clarity of that, and really it gave me the vanity of all this, and I don't regret about that. I don't now. I'm 53 and I don't regret. It's impossible. I see the right thing.
There's a question from.
Yes.
For this sutta, and all of this dependent origination, it becomes increasingly difficult for me to disidentify, with body, feeling, perception. I can, increasingly I can see where I'm identifying. And with consciousness, it's really slippery. Like, how do I
Identify
know,
consciousness? Or
yeah, how do I know when I'm conscious or not conscious?
you should not be even identifying perception, feeling also. It's not to be like separated, or it's just you take it generally, this happening, this there. Because like in water, inside water you have other H2O, H, and like all these other minerals and everything, okay? You can't see, you can't separate them actually. So even the explanation I told about slow motion, like ear and object, and then the attention, then the consciousness rise, and all this, like the steps, then feeling, then you perceive the feeling, and then you react, and so on. So this is also not to take it very, this is happening, and you have it as a mental picture that has a body, feeling, perception, like, like it's there. So like that you can know. Slowly you start with that mental picture, and it's actually there. So then you relate the nature, the Dhamma, what happens to this. Okay? So if you had an underlying clinging to your body, an invisible clinging, we have it. Okay? When we get this thing in the subconscious, we begin to let go, and you feel relaxed, restful more. So that's why I tell to apply means not to apply directly here and to identify each one. That won't happen. Some people sometimes mistake that.
Because they come together.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
And you can't have any of them without consciousness.
Yeah.
And consciousness itself, arising and falling, I only know of it because of the memory of my perception of things changing. Like I go unconscious and then I become conscious and I see that what I've been perceiving has changed. That's all the way that I know consciousness.
Yeah, how it has changed in a gross way. Yeah, in a gross way. In the sensual world it happens, so we can notice like that. Now I can look at you, and then I look here, I know how it has all changed, like when I look back like that. So that is a very, very tangible way, but this is going beyond that to get your wisdom more about impermanence. Okay? It's not through a kind of an experience to go for that. So then that's there as techniques. For example, the meditation techniques, especially the touch and all that, it's used for looking at the rising, passing away. But in this case, we are like in the original Buddha's time. It's not bringing it down to a very observable way. It's trying to activate that deep wisdom. Okay. So now, if you observe even the impermanence like that, that awareness, according to our practice, we see that it's not enough, the impermanence, the wisdom is not enough in that. It's a reality we observe. So it's actually very helpful, it can be easily practiced and observed. But in this practice, it's like the original time, it triggers an intuitive realization. That's why I said, like Newton, when he sees the apple fall, and then he, something similar to that, where you begin to become realize about a deep underlying truth about our existence. It's really the universal impermanence. So it's not coming as something you have watched and observed. It has come as something you have sort of empty your mind. That's also very important. And these things could trigger this way of the Buddha, how we discourse. It can trigger that impermanence that he wants you to experience. Do you get that? Is it clear? No? But you want to make me... Because in the past you would have if... Now, did you see the previous sutta that we read? The previous means like with a cause or something? Let's see. Let me tell you. We'll come to more of that. These are very interesting. Wait, I will come to them.
It seems like consciousness being aware of itself.
No, the consciousness is like a simple neutral thing. You must take it like that. It's not something, it's working with feeling, perception, and so you're only trying to plainly understand the normal nature of the function of consciousness. Okay, in consciousness means you can take whatever is very, like you're seeing me, now you're conscious. Okay, this experience, so you don't see it like, you begin to know that whatever the experience even I had in the past from the eyes, okay, experience of consciousness, it has a beginning, it went away. Okay, so and it's depending on this body. Okay, you are seeing the mechanism of it. It needs a body. Without a body, you cannot have consciousness. Okay, body supports consciousness. So body, if it is like based on food, all right, and that's why we see the cause of body is food and one is karma. Do you get the idea that the body is rising from past karma? Okay, so that karma is impermanent, so the body is impermanent. Then this whatever consciousness we are going to experience has to be impermanent. Not from this kind of impermanence we notice like this. From wisdom we learn to know that this. So that wisdom is the one that the cause of this is impermanent. Therefore, this going to be impermanent. Therefore, like that, inferring like that. Do you get this idea of Then that's the type of wisdom that you're getting. This is what nature or the whole existence, what is happening.
The identification is so close. I can observe, consciousness or rising and passing in a pet, living and dying. But because I'm so in the flow of it, the consciousness is like fully identified with. Yeah,
You don't?
identified with what I'm aware of.
Yeah, you don't try to. If you say you identify consciousness, I will not believe you. Because it's not possible to do that. Okay, because it's something to be meant, like, okay, for example, I tell, can you see the gradient of the earth? In the earth, that the earth is round, okay? But do you see from your eyes the what do you call it, the gradient or what? Gradient, no? Going down, eh? Okay, curvation, the gradient or the descent from the seashore, you can't see, right? How did they know? They saw the ship, the sail, from there, the mast, what a mast? So slowly it was rising up. Okay? So you don't see, but then by thinking, you get to know that what you're seeing, you're using a type of thinking or about the reality, what's there, what is unseen. So same way only this wisdom is where you are, okay, taking a little bit of the body awareness and what you're seeing, but then you are analyzing. The Buddha is telling you what to think also, so that you will see the final realities of what you're experiencing. It's like that. It's not seen, that's why even you can't talk about the actual experience of impermanence. It's going to an infinite experience. So it's like a wow experience. That's how I sort of advertise it. So be patient and leave all the ideas we have heard already. So you become like a baby, without any ideas, conditioning. That happens when you come to samadhi more. That means less thinking with metta or anapanasati. It has chances of getting that mind. And then you put this like you never knew these teachings or anything. Then it can work. Okay.
I have a question about that. On page 35, the one about the burden,
Yes, I have been, yeah.
it says, what bhikkhus is the carrier of the burden? It should be said that the person, this venerable one of such and such a name and clan,
Yes.
is called the carrier of the burden.
Mm-hmm.
Usually the Buddha wouldn't answer a question like that. when he says like who receives the karma, he wouldn't give an answer. But this time he gives that answer.
And he's, okay, what bhikkhu is the carrier of the burden? It should be said the person. Now that is just actually conventionally how we are. Conventionally, yeah. So this is actually Buddha is explaining, it should be, okay, like a personality, a person, now who is, like this Venerable one of such a name and clan, like, he's giving an identity or kind of how to recognize it. Then what bhikkhu is the taking up of the burden? It is the craving that leads to renewed existence, accompanied by delight and lust. Then, and what bhikkhu is the laying down of the burden? It is the okay. This is just a conventional recognition of something. Okay, that's how you tell John the carpenter, like this. Yeah. Okay. My teacher actually pinpointed this sutta, highlighted it, but I never get a significant feeling from this. There are other suttas I got some, so. Where did we stop? Sorry. Which page? 45 or 44? Ananda, right, yeah. Ananda 2 also. Did we read the Ananda 2? No. Okay, we go through there. And the Blessed One then said to the Venerable Ananda as he was sitting to one side, if Ananda, they were to ask you, friends, Ananda, what are the things of which an arising was discerned, a vanishing was discerned, an alteration of that which stands was discerned? What are the things of which an arising will be discerned, a vanishing will be discerned, an alteration of that which stands will be discerned? What are the things of which an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned? So it's past, present, future. Vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned. Being asked thus, Ananda, how would you answer? Venerable Sir, if they were to ask me this, I would answer thus, friends, with form that has passed, ceased, changed, and arising was discerned. You see, you have to stop and really visualize this. Okay? Then only you have to visualize. A vanishing was discerned, an alteration of that which stands was discerned. With feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness that has passed, ceased, changed, and arising was discerned. A vanishing was discerned. So you can even go to the memory of an experience. Don't just note this, Some things you might notice, you have to get that, go to a memory what you have experienced and see there was feeling, perception in that moment. And how this actually, there was a moment when say for example, when I entered here, that's that beginning, okay? Then I come and sit down. If I remember myself an experience, and then I go, okay? So whatever, even in a long period, you can see very clearly there was a beginning and then there was a some period of stay and then passing away. Okay? So this have to be a little bit very obvious it looks. So then only the exercise of, because you have become more aware of the factual things that happen. And then by that, you begin to develop that impermanent perception actually. I told you those days one time when we were going through this, in dream also we had this like finishing, like disappearing, impermanence. That was a good old days with my teacher. He's also spirited with this, with this kind of, you could say, experience. So, with the feeling, perception, volitional formation, consciousness that has passed, ceased, changed, and arising was discerned, a vanishing was discerned, an alteration of that which stands was discerned. It is of these things, friends, that an arising was discerned, that the vanishing was discerned, and that the alteration of that which stands was discerned. Friends, with form that has not been born, that is in the future, not become manifest, an arising will be discerned. Form is a thing that is, you give a name like that, a form means arising. Okay? So you get a whatever form, whether it's human body or deva or whatever, if arising will be noticed. So it's in time. Okay? A vanishing will be discerned, an alteration of that which stands will be discerned. With feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness that has not been born, not become manifest, an arising will be discerned. a vanishing will be discerned. An alteration of that which stands will be discerned. It is of these things, friends, that an arising will be discerned, that is, vanishing will be discerned, that an alteration of that which stands will be discerned. Friends, with form that has been born, that has become manifest, an arising is discerned. A vanishing is discerned. A alteration of that which stands is discerned. With feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness that has been born, that has become manifest, an arising is discerned, a vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned. You must look at and read also, right? Don't only hear to me. Now, the gentleman, he told me those days by hearing, people, realized. And Bhante, why do you stress about reading? Okay, those days knowledge, those days our ears were more functioning well. Now our eyes are functioning more, especially after TV and cell phones. Okay, so this is a very way how we learned. This organ is more. It works with the brain, but not reading from the cell phone. I think with that blue light and all that. At least this paper book, some monks knew it in memory. One Gnanadipa Bhante, but I can't expect myself to have this thing. But reading at least, with a simple book is the best, I think, to get stimulation of the Dhamma. Not from the phone also gone to my idea, And also maybe a small lamp. That's how we had in Parappaduva those days, kerosene lamp or oil lamp. That light rather than this very flashy, because then our brain seems to work in that direction. But don't be too attached to those things. Just do the reading and, be mindful when you're going and coming and sense restraint much as possible. Those other things affect, but don't be too in that, depend only on that. No, mainly you have to read, focus for long period and get your mind used to this. That's the main cause. That has become manifest, arising. Okay, conscious that has been born, that has become manifest, and arising is discerned. A vanishing is discerned, an alteration of that which stands is discerned. It is these things, friends, that an arising is discerned, that a vanishing is discerned, that an alteration of that which stands is discerned. Being asked thus, Venerable Sir, I would answer in such a way. I don't want you to be in peace. You understand? I don't want you to be in peace. I want you to detach from peace. Okay. So sometimes you like to write, this is like too much reading, repetition. Okay. So it's like breaking your, maybe, so this exercise is taking you to actually kind of realization. So sometimes we have got so used to that kind of relax and peace, and maybe I don't know whether you expected the retreat to going to be like that. Only in the morning, okay? No. In this retreat, actually this exercise, because more you have got that peace for a long time, your wisdom eye is like, with the rut, and I don't know, not what you call it, rust, I mean. Sorry, not rut, I'm sorry, rust. Okay. And malakada. Think this have to be open. So it's going to damage your deeper samadhi also. That peace. And also it's going to damage your final thing. We have to get wisdom. So this analyzing, contemplation, this exercise, and especially the Buddha's type of exercise is going to really massage and polish and open up that wisdom eye. Hopefully maybe third, I told you, fourth day, allow, whatever potential you have, it will get a strongest stimulation. So only thing that you can't do it like really do it, read a little bit and then do more contemplation. That can't be done. You see how you just sometimes now, tomorrow if you are going to finish the rest of the half, then you might have to speed up lunchtime actually. Okay, by lunchtime, then when afternoon when I come, or maybe morning, I don't know which time, I'll be starting a new one. But by that time, there's something I will question you all. Something should happen in your brain already. If you have kept reading this. Okay. But if it doesn't happen, it will not work. Based on this, there's the other part, another more diverse meditation will be starting from there. Okay, but this we have to, some idea of body, feeling, perception, it has to arise in your contemplation. But don't try to know, this is not like you're going to notice somewhere the body, feeling, perception. Body we can very clearly see, but that's also consciousness. Because from the eyes, we are conscious and then we are this thing. So just have a, මොකද්ද කියන්නේ අනුමාන කියන එක ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් මොකද්ද කියන්නේ? Approximate මොකද්ද? Sorry? අනුමාන කළ බලන්න කියන්නේ? Sorry? Not predict. Assumption. Huh? Assumption. No, anumana. Anumana. Yeah, kind of speculate, but anumana means like approximate or approxim. Like a approxim. Sorry, I'm not sure whether it's the right word.
Around, around certain.
Yeah, and around something. Like anumana means.
Like guessing, you have some certain, you have a guess that it might be that, like as you mentioned.
Correct. Visualizing guess, okay? It's like a visualizing guess you have to, in the mind. You're not guessing, but you're like, it's like approximating, like it's not a real thing. So, but this is about knowing the real thing. You're creating an image or imagining reality, which is unseen, unnoticed from the senses. It is kind of, so that analyzing, that very simple you can think. It's like, as I told you about the ship also, you see the body, you see these things. But Buddha guides you to that. He tells you to think this, think that. Okay, now he's doing that. So when you are thinking like that, it automatically will come. You don't have to complicate this. Okay. It's just, if you do this exercise, it will just trigger those, so little bit, even one thing, if you even understood like the hard nature here and the hard nature which is in this space is same. Have you noticed that in the mind? Right? That they are same in terms of your urine inside your bladder and the urine, when you say the water, is really no difference in terms of, the watery nature. How many of you don't sort of, it's not clear or you can't visualize in your mind? Don't worry. Or everybody, you can understand what it is, or it's not comprehensible. Okay, this is something, this slowly you have this, then the idea of, you're leaving, letting go, a selfhood in that. And then that lightness also will come. So something, that's a small example. Through that also some people have attained Nibbana. So, I hope you are not getting tired, no? Getting tired? Now only I'm waking up and getting energy. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. Wait, I will finish. Don't worry, okay? I'll try to. Sorry? That's not good. That's not a. I hope tomorrow now this real practice. This is your teacher here. And don't be too this thing to a person. And this, if you remember my words, is not good. Because this you have to remember. Remember means it should come to your flash, like you should be connected with the Buddha. All right? How much did you read? Like the half, near the half? No, did you, how, yeah.
Half of 115 pages or half of the book?
No, half of the one that I told, that.
It's 115 pages.
Oh, okay, so you have not been waiting too much for me, okay. You've been at this, I'm worried, I went on my relaxing, and so you are supposed to do that too. You are supposed to relax, and this is how it's done. But not sleep, that means relaxing means not sleep or something like that. Just relaxingly, let go. Let the memories come, let this thing, and just settle down in the present moment. This is the way for enlightenment, what kind of body and mind we need. It's not a rush and this thing and stern, and it won't happen like that. And it's definitely no talking. But I heard You all have been very well, very good. I hope so. And I think you all are serious. I'm very happy with that. I'm really happy with, because I was serious with this as a young boy when my teacher told me, and it really changed me. So that's why I feel this is your time, it has come, and I really don't want you to have any disturbance, and hopefully your chance. 48. The way. Are you there? Huh? Yeah, Patipada. Same page, it's English also. I read from the, because I will teach you the way leading to the origination of identity and the way leading to the cessation of identity. Listen to that. And while bhikkhus is the way leading to the origination of identity, here bhikkhus, the uninstructed worldling, regards form as self, feeling as self, perception as self, volitional formation as self, consciousness as self, or self as in consciousness. This bhikkhus is called the one way leading to the origination of identity. When it is said the way leading to the origination of identity, the meaning here is this: a way of regarding things that leads to the origination of suffering. Now it can happen to even an outside object. Okay, I have told many times about the auto rickshaw driver in Sri Lanka who take me around. He's a young boy, so sometimes he talks to the says, nice boy, you are given you food now, so now we go, no problem. Okay, he talks with the junk, so he's so mentally attached, he gives an identity to that. Okay, just see like that. We have given identity to our flesh and all these things. The meaning here is this: a way of regarding things that leads to the origination of suffering. And what bhikkhus is the way leading to the cessation of identity. Here bhikkhus, the uninstructed noble disciple, does not regard form as self, nor feeling as self, nor perception as self, nor volitional formations as self, nor consciousness as self, nor self as in consciousness. This bhikkhus is called the way leading to the cessation of identity. When it is said the way leading to the cessation of identity, the meaning here is this: a way of regarding things that leads to the cessation of suffering. .55 page. We are coming to a very nice one, next one. Something similar to Halidakani Sutta. It's called the middle 50, the engagement. Hari 55. Yeah. And ඊට පස්සේ එන්නේ බීජ සූත්‍රයද බලන්න. right, okay. ඒක තමයි හරි page එක. Because one who is engaged is unliberated. One who is disengaged is liberated. These are very, very special suttas we are getting. This one, this page, next page. Good for your contemplation and consciousness bhikkhus while standing might stand engaged with form. Based upon form, established upon form, with a sprinkling of delight, it might come to growth, increase and expansion. Or consciousness while standing might stand engaged with feeling, engaged with perception, engaged with volitional formations, based upon volitional formations, established upon volitional formations. With the sprinkling of delight, it might come to growth, increase and expansion. Okay. Because though someone might say, apart from form, apart from feeling, apart from perception, apart from volitional formations, I will make known the coming and going of consciousness, its passing away and rebirth, its growth, increase and expansion, that is impossible. Because if a bhikkhu has abandoned lust for the form element, with the abandoning of the lust, the basis is cut off,
There is no support for establishing of consciousness. If he has established lust for the feeling element, for the perception element, for the volitional formations element, for the consciousness element, with the abandoning of lust, the basis cut off, there is no support for the establishing of consciousness. Now this is, I explained about the last moment, how the Arahant has no desires, and that's how he doesn't establish in body, feeling, perceptions, even from a memory or any thought of any, there's no karma also for him. So that's why he keeps it to the last breath. When he's going, he'll be able to keep there. Okay? So with that you can relate this, what I explained is very much related. And this is very important that explanation is given for this kind of, it gives an entire, how very, very deep thing. Anybody understood? At least like it should be in some understanding. Is this clear to everybody, or is little not clear? Someone can hear? Oh, what is signaling on now? මොකද්ද? ඒක කර්මානුරූපවනේ විඥානයක් එන්නේ. ඒතකොට මේක තව තේරුම් කරන්න තමයි කර්ම විඥානය කියලා එන්නේ. ඔරිජිනල් එකේ මේ ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින් එන්නේ නැහැ හැම. හැබැයි ඒකේ සත්‍යකුත් තියෙනවා. ඒ අර කර්ම අනුවනේ විඥාන එන්නේ. ඔය ඉංග්‍රීසි සිංහලෙන් තියෙන එක කියන්න හරියට මහත්තයා. ඒ කොටසෙන එක කියන්නේ. ඒ කර්ම විඥානට පිට නොවේ කියලා නේද එන්නේ එහෙමද? ඔව් කර්ම විඥානෙට පිට නොවේ කියලා එන්නේ. ඔගේ සමාට කර්ම විඥානෙනේ. අන්න හරි එහෙමයි. එතකොට ඒක තේරෙන්නේ කර්මානුරූපණ විඥානයක් එන්නේ. එතකොට ඒකට පිටක් එන්නේ නැහැ. කර්මයක් නැහැ ඇත්තටම. ඒක හැබැයි වැඩි විස්තර එකට තමයි ඔය කර්මය කියලා ට්‍රාන්ස්ලේටර් දාලා තියෙන්නේ. හැබැයි විඥානෙට පිටක් නැහැ කියන එක තේරුමක් තියමුනම් ඇති. මේක තේරෙනව නේද? ඒක අර මම අර කියපු කතාවත් එක්ක everybody understand this from what I explained, how my teacher explains, where there's no desires, then so the consciousness, it has no object to, it doesn't get, it needs an object to arise. So it needs focus also. So both this focus is not there, it can't happen for a person who has desireless completely. So then the karma is also not there. So then that little connection is not to be like you can see it or understand, but it's very important to have it in mind. Is that clear really? This sutta is clear to everybody? This is clear? Is this clear to everybody? The one we read? Because one who is engaged is unliberated. One who is disengaged is liberated. This is a very deep one. Keep it deep. Don't try to lot of understand, but at least some understanding should be there. Let's see. Disengaged is liberated. Consciousness, because while standing might stand engaged with form. It cannot stand. It's like you got to look at it like that. It gets the support of form. Okay? Form is what? This body, alright? Based upon form, established upon form, with sprinkling of delight, it might come to growth, increase and expansion. Or consciousness while standing might stand engaged with feeling, engaged with perception, engaged with volitional formations, based upon volitional formations, established upon volitional formations, with a sprinkling of delight, it might come to growth, increase and expansion. So you must just picture mentally for your meditation, you have body, feeling, perception and mental formations. Okay? You take like this. Body, feeling, perception, mental formations. So consciousness is like this, So the desire is like a gum. Okay? Okay. Desire is like a gum. Consciousness is like the entire hand. Okay, here this one. Don't take it like just focusing one. It's just going to these four things. Okay, body, feeling, perception, mental formation. All right. So what is keeping it like that is what? Desire. Okay. So if you remove the desire through yonisoma, with wisdom and all that, then it doesn't get that focus. This is a very big finding by the Buddha. So through wisdom only, so when the desire is completely absent, there is no, the consciousness cannot, or it cannot arise, the causes are not there. So his main concern was the rebirth process. It's not just any suffering, in this life only. So even to a temporary state of consciousness. So before him, there's already found even he also went like that on that path, getting higher consciousness. Okay, so even the higher consciousness if that peace is related with neutral feeling. Okay, neutral feeling. You have 2-3 feelings: pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feeling. So the feeling, when there's feeling, means what? There is a factor of consciousness. So there is consciousness there. How great, how vast it may be. So it is a destructible, impermanent thing, So when through the realization of impermanence and this way, you don't attach to any body feeling perception. There you are detached. Your consciousness, the first time it will experience, not consciousness, you could say first time it experiences the undying state. It's there all the time, but you become conscious or realize so with this practice. So very important. It's like a gum. You have the 4 body feeling, perception, mental formation, the reaction, and then you have consciousness depending on it, or with it, and it's bound. It's bound or kept like that, supported by the gum, I call it. Okay, gum of attachment. Now what we are doing it through wisdom, we are taking away the gum. So it has no existence. It will not able to form again, or at least start to reduce.
That's the meaning of upadana.
Upadana is the gum.
Yeah.
Okay. Mukad. Arahant mind, when you become Arahant, you think. Now don't imagine how they are thinking. Okay. Yeah, no, that is just to I get an idea that this khandhas, okay, that it is supported by consciousness is getting support from it. Okay, so it's like getting focused to that, and that's how consciousness exists. All right, just to get that idea with attachment. So attachment reduces, your attachment slowly cease, then that gum is taken away. Okay, so it will break, and finally you will not get any kind of consciousness at all. It cannot arise, the causes are taken away. All right, even anagami, the non-return, also has some kind of gum, slight one. So that one also is maybe when you become an arahant, or if you become arahant right now in the human plane. So that same thing will happen to what happens to arahant. Completely clean is taken away through the highest wisdom. So now this what you are doing is when you even think like this, that is a vipassana or yoniso manasikara. So that's what I am trying to make you to think. This is very important to think. This is Dhamma. This is special. With this you will get some insight. That is also leading to nibbana. Now we are talking like this, how to look and how to think. That's a thinking process that can suddenly become clear. Then also, it's the way to experiencing nibbana. Yes.
One thing now, in our every moment we're conscious. So consciousness arising based on certain form, feeling, perception on this element. Somewhere it's touching.
Yeah.
So. And consciousness needs that basis.
Yes.
To be there, to be known. Now there is a moment you're talking about, which is this conscious, which is like nibbana, like Dhamma also constitutes both nibbana as well as all this phenomena.
Okay.
And we are talking about we do realize that one moment where we are not having any craving, attachment. For wisdom, we don't attach to any of this 4, 5 aggregate, and then we see that guess anuman, we know that.
That is just a mental picture. You think of it. You're not trying to know it also right now. It can't happen that way. You understand? It's just like some kind of. It's a bit theory. That one, but the theory, you remain there for your yoniso manasikara, you are helping it. Okay, but you are not trying to now figure out, you can't figure out.
happens, like, but we can know it that there is something deathless. It happens.
Yeah, you know, like now from Buddha's teaching, now he's explaining to us now. So we know that what he explains that now if craving is not there, now he also what he explains here, like for example, disengage, engaged. How is disengaged? How is engaged? That we know, that just that part what he's explaining, it's not something now you're going to notice it happening right now. It's something you now have an idea, this idea what he's telling. Now if you disengage like that, then the consciousness won't have support. Just in a simple way like that. But now you don't try to sort of notice it now in here, experiencing it and all that, no. Just keep that as an idea, and then, you know, like suddenly, oh, this idea becomes clear to you in your mind. Like the apple falling, something like this. Okay. For Newton.
But only the moment we realize that this is what this is not true. This is the cause of suffering and everything. Any identification with any of these things, mental form, I am, you know, I understand that if I pursue that, it's not going to lead to my happiness. Just leave it.
Yeah, that
So
will
like
be.
you just kind of let it.
Yeah. So you're in a way you're brainwashed now, you know. With this, it will. But Buddha is compassionate. He's not doing for any other purpose. It will be for your real, true well-being. No one regrets who have given up things, you know. Some very greedy people maybe, you know. But otherwise, you know, their karma also going to be bad. We go to the next one, also very good, you know. For the type of thinking in your walking meditation, this you have to get used to. Go through it little more time, but you know now you have less time. After doing that, quickly go through reading. There are other very important ones also, but I think 56. The second sutta, the seeds, the Bija Sutta, Ilanka. The Polish, but we didn't read the full sutta, no, the other one. Did we read? Did I read?
I read the sutta. That's very interesting.
But did I? No, yeah. Before that, did I read the whole thing of engagement?
We didn't finish that.
No, wait. I have not finished the first one. Because though someone might, so this one. Because if a bhikkhu has abandoned lust for the form element, with the abandonment of lust, the basis is cut off. There is no support for the establishment of consciousness. Okay? If he has abandoned lust for the feeling element, for the perception element, for the volitional formations element, for the consciousness element, with the abandoning of the lust, the basis is cut off. There is no support for the establishment of consciousness. Have you got the page? 56. When that consciousness is unestablished, not coming to growth, non-generative, it's liberated. By being liberated, it's steady. By being steady, it is content. By being content, he is not agitated. Being unagitated, he personally attains Nibbana. He understands, destroyed his birth, the holy life had been lived. What had to be done has been done. There is no more for the state of being. Okay? Because I'm happy, I think it's clear for everybody, no? Just you have to be not fully clear means it's just have it, it's clear, I am sure, right? Even consciousness don't complicate it too much. Like you have ear and object. When the initial, you know, like consciousness arises, this ear is just there. Okay? And then this initial, you know, attention, sensation, perception of the sensation and reaction coming so fast, it's happening and it's there, it's consciousness. You don't try to know how it's happened, the sequence, it's just, you know it just happened and it's there. Alright? So ear, nose, these are sensual world consciousness. Okay, they are so fast changing and so on. For any type of consciousness, they have the body part that was used is the form, that is the ear and the sound waves. The eye and, you know, the tongue and these are the body, the form part. Then whatever consciousness is another aspect. It's not body. That's why it's called consciousness. So feeling is not consciousness. Feeling is in consciousness. It's a part. It's consciousness made up of body, feeling, perception, and so on. You can never have a single moment of consciousness without this. It's simple like that. Like, you know, so like water is never formed without H2O.
It's always that combination for water to form. Similarly, like that, for consciousness to form, it always has body, feeling, perceptions. Then the 56, Savasti. Because there are these 5 kinds of seeds. What 5? Root seeds, stem seeds, joint seeds, cutting seeds, and germ seeds. At the 5th. If these 5 kinds of seeds are unbroken, unspoiled, undamaged by wind and sun, fertile, securely planted, but there is no earth or water, would these 5 kinds of seeds come to growth, increase, and expansion? No, Venerable Sir. If these 5 kinds of seeds are broken, spoiled, damaged by wind and sun, unfertile, not securely planted, but there is earth and water, would these 5 kinds of seeds come to growth, increase, and expansion? No, Venerable Sir. If these 5 kinds of seeds are unbroken, unspoiled, undamaged by wind and sun, fertile, securely planted, and there is earth and water, would these 5 kinds of seeds come to growth, increase, and expansion? Yes, Venerable Sir. Because the 4 stations of consciousness should be seen as like the earth element. Delight and lust should be seen as like the water element. Consciousness together with nutrients should be seen as like the 5 kinds of seeds. Consciousness bhikkhus, while standing my stand, engage with form. Based upon form, establish upon form. With a sprinkling of delight, it might come to growth, increase, and expansion. Or consciousness, while standing my stand, engage with feeling, engage with perception, engage with volitional formations. Based upon volitional formations, establish upon volitional formations. With sprinkling of delight, it might come to growth, increase, and expansion. Because though someone might say, apart from form, apart from feeling, apart from perception, apart from volitional formations, I will make known the coming and going of consciousness, in its passing away and rebirth, its growth, increase, and expansion, that is impossible. Because if a bhikkhu has abandoned lust for the form element, with the abandoning of lust, the basis is cut off. So when you slowly, you don't read this fast, okay, the way I'm doing, and with this much sound, you don't read. You must relax. While you're reading from here, this should start working, this forehead. Silence, it works. Silence and just forehead should start to work. Alright, and the present moment breathing should be noticed because you're relaxed and restful so much. But not now, you're tired and sleepy. I know, don't worry, I'll finish quickly. Okay. In the morning it will be better, like if those suttas, alright, when you're fresh and so on, and doesn't matter. Now, because though someone might say, okay, because if a bhikkhu has abandoned lust for the form element, with the abandoning of lust, the basis is cut off. There is no support for the establishing of consciousness. If he has abandoned lust for the feeling element, for the perception element, for the volitional formations element, for the consciousness element, with the abandoning of lust, the basis is cut off. There is no support for the establishment of consciousness. When that consciousness is unestablished, not coming to growth, non-generative, it is liberated. By being liberated, it is steady. By being steady, it is content. By being content, he is not agitated. Being unagitated, he personally attains Nibbana. He understands, destroyed his birth. This is Arahatship, okay? All these monks who were discoursed, actually this was Sutta for Arahants. Even Anatta Lakkana Sutta, it's also coming here. So it was not the first sutta to Anya Kondanyu, it's the second sutta regarding the 5 aggregates. He became Arahant. But this same will apply to attain even stream entrant. In yes.
mentions that the earth considered as what in this Bija Sutta? The earth, the water is the Tanha,
Yeah.
the Vinyan is the seed. What is the earth? Is it the karma?
Yeah, it is a support, karmic support. Yeah.
Bhante, what I understood was that like 4 stations are form, feeling, perception.
Sankara, yeah.
There's the 4 stations, so that's the earth, and this is
No. 4 stations are like you have, what is this, feeling, perception.
mental formation.
Yeah, that is the body, feeling, perception, and mental formation. That is the stations for consciousness.
Yeah, the stations for consciousness, and then so greed, the lust and greed is the water. So I thought like this is the earth, like this earth, then this tanha, craving, like for it, or like that's the water is the delight, taking which comes consciousness, and that because when the consciousness lands on that, then it's like it's multiplied, it proliferates.
Yeah, it keeps it going. It keeps it bound. Yeah.
So then, so the earth and water would be the 4 stations.
Yeah, no, earth is like supporting.
Supporting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a karma also included in that. So now you have that's a support. It's broken. That's why it's told the components are shown, and it's dependent also. That's the reason to show that it's dependent and kind of components. So then you take away the components, then it can't exist. That's the main idea you have to get. Being scientific, you all want to, in a scientific area, then it's good, very good. You'll have to have something. I have this one monk, he said he will send the books. Maybe I don't want to put too much of it, because some things that will support these teachings I might add. මොකද්ද? කෝකේ දෙන්නේ සිංහල එකද? ඔව් 58 පිට. ඒකේ ෆුල් එක කොහොමද දෙන්නේ?
භික්ෂුවක් මෙසේ රූපයේ විඥානයේ දැනීමෙන් ඉඳින් මම නොවුනම් නම් අතීත කර්ම රසක් කිරීමක් නොවීම නම් මට මතු ස්කන්ධ ගොඩවන කර්ම රස.
ඔව් ඒකේ අනාගාමී වුණා කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක අර ඕරන් කියන්නේ මේ ඊට කලින් තියෙනවනේ දැන් අපිට මේ සංයෝජන වගේ. අනේ සංයෝජන බිඳිනවා කියන එක ඒක නේද? ඔය වෙන සූත්‍රයක් නේද ඔක? ඊළඟ එක. ඔව් ඒක එන්නේ එහෙම තමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ අර එහෙම අනාගාමී තත්වෙට ඒ විදිහට ප්‍රකාශ කරනකොට ඒ අර ඒ අනාගාමී තත්වයට එනකොට සංයෝජන 10ක් තියෙනවනේ. ඒ සංයෝජන 10 අර මුල් කොටස් වෙන 5ක් හරි ඔහම තියෙන්නේ. ඒ ටික නැති වෙනවා කියන එක. අනාගාමී. අනේ අන්තිම උස්ම අරහන්.
ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් පැහැදිලි කරලා අන්තිම
අනිත්‍යම අනාගාමී උතුමන් වහන්සේට තියෙනවනේ සාම කර්මයි තණ්හාව එන ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කිව්වොත් කමන්නේද කොහොමද? හරි කමන සිහිනෙන් කියන්න. ආසය වගේ කියන්නේ. එතකොට තණ්හාවයි කර්මයේ තියෙන හින්දා කර්ම තියෙන හින්දා හිත යනවා. කර්ම තියෙන හින්දා අරමුණ වෙනවා. එතකොට අරමුණක් එන්නේ මොකද්ද? අනාගාමී උතුමන් වහන්සේට මේ සාන්තිය පිළිබඳ. ධ්‍යාන සමාධිය පිළිබඳ. ඕකේ උපේක්ෂා ෆීලිං දැනීමට තමයි ඒ දැනීම එනවා. දැනීම අත්දකින්නවා. ඒකට හිත යනවා ආසාව තියෙනවා තාම ඒකට නිරාමිස සුවයක්. එතකොට ඒ ආසාවේ හේතු තියෙනවා විඥානයක් පහළ වෙන. අරමුණ තමයි ශාන්තිය. එතකොට ඒකින්ද හේතු තියෙන හින්දා ආයි විඥානයක් හට ගන්නවා. එතකොට රහතන් වහන්සේට අර ඒ ශාන්තියටවත් ඇලීමක් නැහැ. එතකොට කර්මත් නැහැ. ඒක හිතන් Tamanට උනා කියලා හිතන්නේ. එතකොට එහෙම නැති වුණ දැන් මේවට හරියට ගැළපෙනවා ඒක. ඒක දැන් හාමුදුරුවෝ එහෙම තේරුම් කරේ මේවා බලනකොට මට ඒක ගොඩක් මට එහෙම දෙයක් සම්බන්ධයක් ඇති වුණා ඉස්සර හුදකලා. මේකේ හරිය පැහැදිලි වෙනවා එතකොට. නිකම් මේ එතකොට අර මොකද්ද මේ අර ඒ මොනවාද එතකොට අරහතන් වහන්සේට එහෙම තණ්හාවයි ඒව නැතිකොට අන්තිම හුස්ම යනකොට උන්වහන්සේට මොනවාද හිත යවන්න තණ්හාවක් නැහැ. හිත යවන්න එන අරමුණකුත් නැහැ. කර්ම නැති හින්දා. ওই දෙකම නැතිකොට යාට උන්වහන්සේට මේ යන අන්තිම හුස්මට එහෙමම බලාගෙන ඉන්න පුළුවන් ද බැරි වේද? අන්න හරි. එතකොට එහෙම තමන්වත් හිතන්නේ එහෙම බලාගෙන හිටියොත් විඥානයක් පහළ වෙන්න හේතු තියනවද? අන්න එතකොට ඒක උන්වහන්සේ මට ඔහොම කියලා කියනවා ඔක ගැඹුරුයි කියලා. ඒක හැමම තමයි. ඒක වැඩි ඊට වඩා මොකද්ද කියලා හොයන්න යන්න අරකයි ඔය සම්බන්ධව. ඒක ඔහොම තියන්න ඕනේ. හැබැයි ඕම මට්ටමටත් තේරෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒක ඒතර උදව් වෙනවා මේකේ. මේ දැන් ඔය මෙතන කියපු ඒවල ඒක ගොඩක් සම්බන්ධ උදව් වෙනවා. මුළු මේ කන්ද වර්ගයේම එහෙම උදව් වෙනවා. Sorry for the English speaking. If I, okay, I know maybe you all think that's something interesting, but it's about, I'm very sorry, but some of them, yes? ඒ කියන්නේ කර්ම නැහැ කියන්නේ අර දැන් මේ අන්තිම මොහොතේදී චුතිසිතකට එන්න ඕන නිමිත්තක් තියෙනවනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ කර්මානුරූපවනේ. එතකොට ඒ කර්මය ඒ මොනවාද දැන් අන්තිම ඇඟනේ අන්තිම කර්ම ගෙවාගෙන යනවා. ඒ ඇඟ කර්ම විපාකනේ පෙර. එතකොට පුරාණ කර්මය පුළුවන් තරම් ගෙවිලා තමයි ඔය අන්තිම මොහොතේ. හැබැයි උන්වහන්සේට ද්වේෂයකුත් නැහැ. ඒකට රියැක්ෂන් නැහැනේ. රියැක්ෂන් වෙන්න කාම ලෝකේ කිසිම එහෙම අනාගාමී උතුමන්ටත් ඒක වෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට උන්වහන්සේට ඒකත් නැහැ. තව අන්තිම මොහොතේ එන අරමුණක් කියන්නේ විපාක මතනේ. චුතිසිතකට last thought එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ අපි මරණ කෙනෙකුට. එතකොට ඒ thought එකක් එන්නේත් නැහැ. thought එකක් ආවට මේ හිත යන්න තණ්හාවකුත් නැහැ. රහතන් වහන්සේට. ඒතර මුගලන් මහ රහතන් වහන්සේට අර ඒ දෙක නැහැ කියලා හිතන්න පුළුවන් සම්පූර්ණයෙන්. ඒතර ඒ දෙක නැත්තම් ඒතර අන්තිම උස්මට තිබ්බද මන් දන්නේ එහෙම කියන්න. මොකද උන්වහන්සේලා කොහොමද ඒක සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ? ඒක අර අපේ ගුරු දේවයන් වහන්සේ මේ රහතන් වහන්සේ කියන ඒ පෙන්වන්නේ විඥාන හේතු සහගතව හට ගන්න හැටි නැති වෙන ආකාරය ගැන කියන්නේ. ඒක තේරෙනව නේද? ඒක පැහැදිලිනේ. රහතන් වහන්සේට එහෙම කර්ම නැහැ කියන්නේ යාට උන්වහන්සේට මෙහෙම දැන් ඒ කර්ම එහෙම නැති වෙන්නේ මුගලන් මේ කවුද අඟුලිමාල මහරහතන් වහන්සේට තුවාල වෙලා එහෙම ඒ අර කර්ම ගෙවුණා කොහොම හරි. අර ඒක වුණේ අර තුවාල වලින් ගෙවුනේ. තුවාල වලින් ගෙවුණා ඒ අර අපාය යන්න තියෙන කර්ම මිනි මරපු ඒවා. ඒවා මොකද අඩුනේ කොහොමද? විදර්ශනා නුවණින් රහත් ඵලය කියන්නේ විදර්ශනා ඉහළම නුවණක්. දැන් ඔය කියවන එකේ මොනවද කරවන්නේ? ඒ නුවණම හැටි කරවන්න බලනවා පින්වතුන්ලගේ. එතකොට කර්ම ගොඩක් අඩු වෙනවා. මේකට එනවා කියන එකත් පුදුමයි. මේක බලාගෙන ඔහොම කර කර යනවා කියන එකත් පුදුමයි. ඒකෙදි Tamanට ගොඩක් මේකේ කර්ම නැති කරන එකක් තමයි අඩු කරලා නැති කරන එකක් තමයි මේ දැන් ඔය කරන වැඩෙත් තියෙන්නේ. අරම වුණොත් ඉතින් ලොකු දෙයක්. එහෙම මෙච්චර මේ දවස් 5කින් මේකට සැක්‍රිෆයිස් කරන්න ලෑස්ති වෙනවනේ ආත්ම 5ක්. ඔහොම ඉන්ස්ටන්ට් නූඩල්ස් වගේ දේවල් නෑ මේකේ. බුදුහාඳුර කෙනෙකුට අපි ජීවිතේ පූජා කළා එකට ආව ඒක ඉතින් හැබැයි මේක මම අපි කරුණාවකින් මොනවාරි දෙන්න බලනවා platform එකක් මේකේ මොකක්ද පටන් ගන්න ඕනේ මෙහෙම හරි එන එක ඒක පේනවනේ potential තියෙන අය ඉන්නවා කියලා නිවනක් බෑ කියලා අපි මේවා කරන්නේ නැති හිටියනම් මොකද්ද sorry I spoke a lot in English now so no problem I hope you excuse me only few of you no now okay there are like I think there are some who only knows English, right? They are not familiar with English too much, so they like to, like they're homesick, So they brainwash me, they kill my brain from all the English I knew. Really, but they are the ones who protected the Dhamma, so that's gratitude. That's why when I am all this, I'm coming, it has been them for long years. The Sri Lankan, the community. So now my Sinhalese is very good actually. I think, no? Before it was like some Tamil person or a foreigner talking, right? Some people even comment, "Meya handru demalat danna." Wait, we have to. Oh, today we'll have all night. Sorry, I try to excuse myself. I'm not going to torture you. Wait, just not more than you see. I don't want to give a word. I'll cover quickly, not too much. Okay? What is that? Your sleeping time is normally 8, 9 maybe, no? 9, no? No. Here, no, it's like 9, right? 9 o'clock. It should be 9 because you have to get up early, 8, 3. Now, if you had good rest tonight, don't try to definitely get up, okay? It will be help you, and it will. Some of them have continued in their normal life. It's a good time to change your life. This coming here, not to waste time. Seeking like Radha, whatever.
I think the Sinhalese one have more. Okay. 81. No, not this one, wait, sorry. How come so many? Okay. Page number 115, flowers. පුප්ප සුත්ත හරි පුප්ප කියලා section එකක් ඒකේ යටතේ නදී හරි වෙන්න ඇති river 113 right because I do not okay the first one which is river nadi 115 because suppose there was a mountain river sweeping downward flowing into distance with a swift current if on either bank of the river kasa grass or kusa grass were to grow it would overhang it if rushes and reeds or trees were to grow they would overhang it if a man being carried along by the current should grasp the kasa grass, it would break off and he would thereby meet with calamity and disaster. If he should grasp the kusa grass, it would break off and he would thereby meet with calamity and disaster. If he should grasp the rushes, reeds or trees, they would break off and he would thereby meet with calamity and disaster. So too because the uninstructed worldling regards form as self. Very nice, no? This one how is explained. Or self as possessing form. Or form as in self. These views, if you grasp to these views, it's like you're holding on to, it will not save you. It will really destroy you. The form of his disintegrates and he thereby meets with calamity and disaster. He regards feeling as self, perception as self, volition formations as self, consciousness as self, or self as possessing consciousness. So this is the time to remove this. Sometimes we might think these bodies and our children, our relations also, they are bodies, feelings, and then we grasp. So, but I don't think we are going to put robes on, but at least we must get enlightened in the midst of them. This could happen, this will happen, and do our duty. There were families like that. There was my great-grandma. When the child died, she used to practice. Even the 9 cemetery meditation, they had no TV those days, and phones, of course, no. So only entertainment was they used to practice this with the the japamala, the rosary, and all that, and then spend the day like that. And when their son died, we got to know the eldest son. She had no tear. She was having the rosary, light a lamp in front of the Buddha, and my mother, they noticed that. So because they practice like that, they will go to a good place and they are a blessing to the children. But if you are not like that, so clingy, so this thing, you will be a ghost. They want to chase you later. That can happen. So volitional formations are self-conscious. That consciousness of his disintegrates and he thereby meets with calamity and disaster. Actually, these are very frightening things, tell you honestly. That's why I'm practicing, and in the programs I explain, because this is really people, they become really this thing when they're old and they have to face this and the next one. They think things are like all finished. Real life starts after death. So now if in the olden times, the whole thing was preparing for us. The culture, the ancient cultures, they had that preparation, knowing the next life. Now they think it's all dead and gone. So that's why I say to read Edgar Cayce and to get some idea of, not to blindly believe about reincarnation and karma. You should really get some, that background knowledge. Then you'll see the meaningfulness of this whole practice. What do you think, bhikkhus? Is form permanent or impermanent? Impermanent, not this. Okay, now the other one, Buddha says how to regard, okay? So that you let go body, feeling, perception and so on. Okay, this one, next one also good. Bhikkhus, I do not dispute with the world. Flowers, okay? Puppa. Bhikkhus, I do not dispute with the world. Rather, it is the world that disputes with me. A proponent of the Dhamma does not dispute with anyone in the world. Of that which the wise in the world agree upon as not existing, I too say that it does not exist. And of that which the wise in the world agree upon as existing, I too say that it exists. And what is it, bhikkhus, that the wise in the world agree upon as not existing, of which I too say that it does not exist? Form that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change. This is wise in the world agree upon as not existing. And I too say that it does not exist. Feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness that is permanent, stable, eternal, not subject to change. This the wise in the world agree upon as not existing. And I too say that it does not exist. That bhikkhus is what the wise in the world agree upon as not existing, of which I too say that it does not exist. And what is it, bhikkhus, that the wise in the world agree upon as existing, of which I too say that it exists? Form that is impermanent, suffering, and subjected to change. This is the wise in the world agree upon as existing, and I too say that it exists. Feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness that is impermanent, suffering, and subject to change. This the wise in the world agree upon as existing. I too say that it exists. That bhikkhu is what the wise in the world agree upon as existing, of which I too say that it exists. There is bhikkhus a world phenomena. Now I wanted to come to this actually in this explanation. There is bhikkhus a world phenomena in the world to which the Tathagata has awakened and broken through. Having done so, he explains it, teaches it, proclaims it, establishes it, discloses it, analyzes it, and elucidates it. And what is that world phenomena in the world to which the Tathagata has awakened? Now look how we know it's not a religion. It's like a supreme scientist. Okay, some have, it is very much, you can see that it is like awakened and broken through. Form bhikkhus is a world phenomena. Now, when I first landed in Nicosia one time when I had to go for my studies, so those days I was fully into the Dhamma, and I was really it was like this thing to fulfill my father, and in my heart I had no liking to go at all, but I knew I had to go. So in the flight, when the stairs or whatever was brought to this thing, and there's like an old man pushing it. When I looked at him, I was very happy. I realized there are old people here. It really what am I? And still more dispassion for me. I felt very dispassionate. Then I was happy, okay, here also I can look at the truth. Like that I thought. So, I remember we had students there those days. He was a Pakistan. He wanted to be very Americanized, His accent was American and everything he dressed, and he valued everything American those days, a Pakistani. Not a friend, I would say, I had different other friends who were a little more something spiritual. So this person, he always tells, they send a rocket to the moon and how great it is. So suddenly I told him one time, from Pakistan or from that part, that area, many years back, they went further than the moon. And then he was wondering, he was very curious. He said, how, who?
I said, your prophets, in those days. Yeah, they sometimes in body there are stories how with their body they have gone to the heavens, those areas. Elijah, or what, even in the Christian, Elijah, I think, the Christian. So, and what is the world phenomena? So the form bhikkhus is a world phenomena in the world to which the Tathagata has awakened and broken through. Having done so, he explains it, teaches it, proclaims it, establishes it, discloses it, and analyzes it, elucidates it. When it is being thus explained and elucidated by the Tathagata, if anyone does not know and see, how can I do anything with that foolish worldling, blind and sightless, who does not know and does not see? Feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness is a world phenomenon in the world to which the Tathagata has awakened and broken through. Having done so, he explains it, teaches it, proclaims it, establishes it, discloses it, analyzes it, elucidates it. When it is being thus explained and elucidated by the Tathagata, if anyone does not know and see, how can I do anything with that foolish worldling, blind and sightless, who does not know and does not see? Bhikkhu, just as a blue, red or white lotus is born in the water and grows up in the water, but having arisen up above the water, it stands unsullied by the water. So too the Tathagata was born in the world and grew up in the world, but having overcome the world, he dwells unsullied by the world. I told you to read up till lump of foam, okay, that part. එතන ළඟ තියෙන සූත්‍රය ගාවට එතනට වෙනකල් කියවන්න කියලා තියෙන්නේ. හෙට දවල් වෙනකොට මේක කරන්න වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අනිද්දා full day. There's a day after tomorrow full day is there, and the other day, is it? Three more days. That is tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and another day. Okay. Yeah. So by tomorrow, lunch or evening the most, okay? Evening. Until I come, maybe, try to finish, but try to do the contemplation also much as possible. Otherwise, just complete until then, fast reading. Okay? Really? තේරුණා නේද ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක අර දැන් අපි දැන් උතන අපි දැන් නැවතුව තැන කියපු හිටිය අන්න එතනට ඒ කියන්නේ ඒකේ තියෙනවා lump of foam කියලා එක this one very nice one, okay? I forgot. The next sutta, good for your meditation. On one occasion, the Blessed One was a lump of foam. 117, etanama. On one occasion, the Blessed 117. On one occasion, the Blessed One was dwelling at Ayodhya. අපේ මහත්තුරුන්ට නෑනේ. ඒගොල්ලන් ගොඩාක් වැඩ පිටිපස්සේ ඉඳන් පොතක් නෑ නේද මහත්තයා? තියෙනවද? සිංහල පොතක්. අඩු ගානේ මේ ටික වෙලාවක් හරි. Bhikkhu supposed that the river Ganges was carrying along a great lump of foam. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in a lump of foam? So too, bhikkhus, whatever kind of form there is, whether past, future, or present, eternal or internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects it, ponders it, and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in form? Suppose, bhikkhus, there in the autumn, when it is raining and big raindrops are falling, a water bubble arises and bursts on the surface of the water. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in a water bubble? So too, bhikkhus, whatever kind of feeling there is,
whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects it, ponders it, and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in feeling? So fleeting that it means, like a bubble, so it can burst any time. Suppose, bhikkhus, that in the last month of the hot season, a high noon, a shimmering mirage appears. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponders it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in mirage? So too, bhikkhus, whatever kind of perception there is, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects it, ponders it, and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in perception? These things you can slowly observe it really, Even your all experiences. I know one monk was asked one time, what is the meaning of life? And he has answered that there is no meaning, that's the meaning of life. This is a very good answer, I think. Just a simple one, that there's no meaning. So here you're going to see, if you're going to, you have to think more. That's why I said hold this, let your forehead work, relax, and then try to put it into the empty space in your mind. Then only the wisdom part of it might trigger. So that's why when you walk, and that's what you should be doing. In the solitary, when you're alone, think you're in a cave somewhere, be alone, and there's possibility. And pay attention time to time to your, like the walking time, to your present steps and so on, and then keep pondering about this. Suppose, bhikkhus, that a man needed heartwood, seeking heartwood, and wandering in search of heartwood, would take an axe and enter a forest. There he would see a trunk of large plantain tree, straight, fresh, without a fruit bud core. He would cut it down at the root, cut off the crown, and unroll the coil. As he unrolls the coil, he would not find even softwood, let alone heartwood. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in a trunk of plantain tree? So too, bhikkhus, whatever kind of volitional formations there are, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects them, ponders them, and carefully investigates them. As he investigates them, they appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in volitional formations? Suppose, bhikkhus, that a magician or a magician's apprentice would display a magical illusion at crossroads. A man with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in a magical illusion? So too, bhikkhus, whatever kind of consciousness there is, whether past, future or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a bhikkhu inspects it, ponders it, and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in consciousness? Seeing thus, bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple experienced revulsion towards form. This word revulsion is called nibbindati. Now actually, I tell people now, if you, in these things, it opens up certain clarity, and they are called, I call them visions. Okay? So it can happen. That's what you're here for, that purpose. You're trained to get that. There are so many people who know knowledge about this way, that way. But experiencing it is a different thing. So knowing this, it's well known, still investigated, still sort of talked about and all that. So I can help you, or I'm trying to encourage you how to experience this. It's two different things, knowing and experiencing this. So for this, when you have some glimpse, immediately you see the real Dhamma body of Buddha. Dhamma body, this is a new term I use. There's no body as such, but who's Buddha? It's a principle you see, but he's awakened to that. Okay? So this actually, then you'll get faith immediately. So I tell it, you get a shock. This shock is the one, the word is called nibbindati. Nibbindati viracchati means dispassionate. Immediately they follow shock, dispassion, nibbindati viracchati, desireless completely to the fullest possible, and nibbananti, you touch nibbana. So this is the purpose, this is the thing. So actually that's why keeping yourself alone, and if you can stick alone if you can not let go this, and because if you put your mind with lot of other knowledge, this and that, this is going to be a blockage for this. Very difficult, because now say you're here in the retreat, maybe you get that. When you go out, you hear here, then somewhere else somebody talking something else, YouTube something else. So like that, so much, information, knowledge and all that. So then it can, so it will delay you so much. So it's unless you meet this, like when we met Bantes also. Sometimes when I'm with him, I feel curious. Milinda Panya, I remember once I got this book. I also feel bored sometimes, so just to entertain me. He would not say, don't read that or not that. He said, whatever agrees with the suttas, you accept, like that. So in roundabout way, he's telling me to read the suttas only. So here we go, we quickly finish this. The instructed noble disciple experienced revulsion towards form, revulsion towards feeling, revulsion towards perception, revulsion towards volitional formation, revulsion towards consciousness. Experiencing revulsion, he becomes dispassionate. Through dispassion, his mind is liberated. When it is liberated, there comes the knowledge, is liberated. Now this is about an arahant's experience. Okay, this is what the Blessed One said. Having said this, the Fortunate One, the teacher, further said this: form is like a lump of foam, feeling like a water bubble, perception is like a mirage, volitions like a plantain trunk, and consciousness like an illusion. So explained the kinsman of the sun. However one may ponder it and carefully investigate it, it appears but hollow and void when one views it carefully. With reference to this body, the one of broad wisdom has taught that with the abandoning of three things, one sees this form discarded. When vitality, heat and consciousness depart from this physical body, then it lies there cast away, food for others without volition. Such is this continuum, this illusion, beguiler of fools. It is taught to be a murderer. Here no substance can be found. A bhikkhu with energy aroused should look upon the aggregates thus, whether by day or at night, comprehending, ever mindful. He should discard all the fetters and make a refuge for himself. Let him fare with head ablaze, yearning for the imperishable state. Okay. Page number 124. We are coming close. The leash, 124. හම්බුණාද ඒක සිංහලෙන්? මොකද්ද? ඊට ඉස්සෙල්ලා එන්නේ මොකද්ද? අනේ. නෑ අර එක මොකද්ද මේ fingernail කියලා එකක් ඒ කියන්නේ මේ 99. No, the Sinhalese one. The leash killer. මම කියවනම් බලන්න හරි. හරි page එක කීයද? 120 the single එක. Because this samsara without discoverable beginning. එහෙම නේද දෙන්නේ? මුලක් නැතුව කියලා සංසාරේ. 121. Sinhalese is 121, right? Yeah. Because this samsara is without discoverable beginning. At first point is not discerned of beings roaming and wandering on, hindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes a time, because when the great ocean dries up and evaporates and no longer exists but still I say there is no making an end of suffering for those beings roaming and wandering, unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes a time, bhikkhus, when Sineru, the king of mountains, burns up. Some people say Kailash is Sineru also, I don't know. The king of mountains burns up and perishes and no longer exists. But still I say, there is no making an end of suffering for those beings roaming and wandering, unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. There comes a time, bhikkhus, when the great earth burns up and perishes and no longer exists. But still I say, there is no I'm sorry. The second one. No, not the first one I want to read. 125. Because this samsara is without a discoverable beginning. 125. The least two. The first point is not discern of beings roaming and wandering, unhindered by ignorance and fettered by craving. Suppose, bhikkhus, a dog tied up on a leash was bound to a strong post or pillar. දෙවනි එක ඒකම ඊළඟ සූත්‍රය 21 page 20. Suppose, bhikkhus, a dog tied up on a leash was bound to a strong post or pillar. If it walks close to the post or pillar. If it stands close to the post or pillar. If it sits down close to that post or pillar. If it lies down close to that post or pillar. So too, bhikkhus, the uninstructed worldling regards form thus: this is mine, this I am, this is myself. He regards feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness thus: this is mine, this I am, this is myself. If he walks close to these five aggregates, subject to clinging. If he stands close to those five aggregates, subject to clinging. If he sits down close to those five aggregates, subject to clinging. If he lies down close to those five aggregates, subject to clinging. Therefore, bhikkhus, one should often reflect upon one's own mind thus: for a long time, this mind has been defiled by lust, hatred and delusion. Through the defilements of the mind, beings are defiled, and with the cleansing of the mind, beings are purified. Bhikkhus, have you seen the picture called Faring On? Yes, Venerable Sir. Even the picture called Faring On has been designed in its diversity by the mind. Yet the mind is... Today, what is the most complicated technology you have? Sorry? Artificial intelligence, okay. So that artificial intelligence is created by a natural intelligence or what? It's created by a natural intelligence. If no natural intelligence whatsoever, there's no human being, will artificial intelligence be ever created? No. So it is similar to this. Those days there was some complicated, I don't know, Faring On is a painting, very abstract something, right? I don't know. Has been designed in the diversity by the mind. Okay? Yet the mind is even more diverse than that picture called Faring On. Because this gathering knowledge, this kind of thing is taken as very, very intelligent. Okay? It's the modern time, this value is given, gathering and so on. So of course the brain can't do, it's programmed now to do like that, where it can gather and process and put forward. It's called information technology finally. Right? I don't know. Am I right? Don't say yes to me. I want to learn something about science. So, because then to relate. Wait, you all are tired. I'll quickly finish this, okay? Therefore, bhikkhus, one should often reflect upon one's own mind thus: for a long time, this mind has been defiled by lust, hatred and delusion. Through the defilements of the mind, beings are defiled. With the cleansing of the mind, beings are purified. Bhikkhus, have you seen the picture called Faring On? Yes, Venerable Sir. Even that picture called Faring On has been designed in the diversity by the mind. Yet the mind is even more diverse than that picture called Faring On. Therefore, bhikkhus, one should often reflect upon one's own mind thus: for a long time, this mind has been defiled by lust, hatred and delusion. Through the defilements of the mind, beings are defiled. With the cleansing of the mind, beings are purified. Bhikkhus, I do not see any other order of living beings so diversified as those in the animal realm. Even those beings in the animal realm have been diversified by the mind, yet the mind is even more diverse than those beings in the animal realm. Therefore, because one should often reflect upon one's own mind, thus, for a long time, this mind has been defiled by lust, hatred, and delusion. Through the defilements of the mind, beings are defiled. With the cleansing of the mind, beings are purified. Suppose bhikkhus, an artist or a painter, using a dye, lac, or turmeric, or indigo or crimson, would create the figure of a man or a woman, complete in all its features, on a well-polished plank, or wall, or a canvas. So too, when the uninstructed worldling produces anything, it is only form that he produces, only feeling that he produces, only perception that he produces. This is very important to look, in your whole life, only volitional formation that he produces, only consciousness that he produces. What do you think, bhikkhus? Is form permanent or impermanent? So this is like, you must, it's a contemplation process, so it's impermanent definitely. What is impermanent is suffering, and what is suffering is not you, not mine. Just another 2-3 minutes, or few minutes, and I finish. The 160. මේකේ ඔක්කොම නම්බර දැම්මද මාත් දාලා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් ගෙනාපු එකද කොහෙද? මොකද අන්තිම එක දාලා නැහැ නේ. If you feel it difficult, just get up and you sit it for how many hours? 3 hours. Okay, I don't think this is something's not been marked. Wait. Sorry, it's okay. These very important ones are there. Okay, wait. I'll cover this. Okay.
In the list, I think 152.
No problem. It's okay. 152 ne?
152, 154, 155, 156.
Okay, just this we can go through this, don't worry. Anyone want to just get up, please get up and don't must be feeling faintish also, some of you. Okay, wait, I go through this quickly. 168. Subject to birth. ඉපදීම කියලා මාක් කරේ තියෙනවද? උප්පත්ති හරි මන් දන්නේ. Jati Dhamma Vindati. Jati Dhamma කියලා වගේ නාරේ නේ. ඒ 170 170 Sinhala එක 170 English is 168. These are very important way to you have to. Okay, that one we read. Okay, bhikkhus all is subject to birth, and what bhikkhu is all that is subject to birth. I is subject to birth. Now you must think of empty space, your mother's womb, even in this one, and nibbana. Okay, nibbana is without birth. Okay, this is the way I look at it. Okay, just to help you. Now, so nibbana is like without birth, nothing born there. All right, nothing to die. So the I is subject to birth. Forms, eye consciousness, eye contact, and whatever feeling arises with eye contact as a condition, that is subject to birth. The ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, they have made it short form. Try to go through the whole.
Bluetooth connected.
The ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, the mind, whatever feeling arises with the mind contact as condition, that too is subject to birth. Seeing thus bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple experience revulsion toward the eye, toward the forms, towards eye consciousness, towards eye contact, towards, when I have already explained in slow motion, is understood, right? Eye consciousness, then with eye consciousness there's feeling, present, unpresent, neutral, like that. It's simple, okay? And for these things, you must mentally picture them for your thinking. Okay, so whatever feeling arises with mind contact as condition, that too is subject to birth. Initially, in the mother's womb, you can think the first moments of consciousness with the body. Seen thus bhikkhus, the instructed noble disciple experience revulsion toward the eye, towards form. That means you would get like, what is this? Something rising? Towards form, towards eye consciousness, towards eye contact. He understands there is no more for such state of being. Because all is subject, next one also, all is subject to aging. Now he's going to all of those things. Aging, sickness applied. So we are not going to go to that. Okay, page number 184. First, before that, 175. Samidhi. 175, Samidhi 1, 2, 3, like that, 4. Fourth one. Samidhi කියන නමක් වගේ. ඊට පස්සේ උපසෙන කියලා ඊට පස්සේ 175 182 Okay, 183, all right. The last one, Samidhi. Venerable Sir, it is said the word, in what way, Venerable Sir, might there be the word or the description of the word? Where there is the eye Samidhi, where there are forms, eye consciousness, things to be cognized by the eye consciousness, there the world exists, or the description of the world. Now, when you look at this, you must think you are like empty space. Okay? You are like empty already. Where there is eye Samidhi, where there are forms, eye consciousness, these things to be cognized by the eye consciousness, there the world exists, or the description of the world. You could say world, universe, galaxy, the whole existence, falls under the word world in the Buddha's time. Okay? Where there is the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, the mind, where there are mental phenomena, mind consciousness, things to be of this shortened form, you must know it applies to all the 6 sense organs. Mind consciousness, things to be cognized by the mind consciousness, there the world exists, or the description of the world. Where there is no eye, samadhi, no forms, no eye consciousness, no things to be cognized by the eye consciousness, there the world does not exist, nor any description of the world. Where there is no ear, no tongue, the body, the mind, no mental phenomena, no mind consciousness, no things to be cognized by the mind consciousness, there the world do not exist, nor any description of the world. The next one is Upasena, and after that Upavana. Okay, that is 176, Upavana. Then the Venerable Upavana approached the Blessed One and said to him, Venerable Sir, it is said the directly visible Dhamma. The directly visible Dhamma, in what way, Venerable Sir, is the Dhamma directly visible, immediate, inviting one to come and see, applicable to be personally experienced by the wise. Here Upavana, having seen a form with the eye, a bhikkhu experiences the form, as well as the lust for the form. He understands that lust for forms exists internally thus. There is in me lust for forms internally. Since that is so, Upavana, the Dhamma is directly visible. That means when you have a lustful thought, you are conscious that I have a lustful thought. Immediate inviting one to come and see, applicable to be personally experienced by the wise. Further, Upavana, having heard a sound, so it applies that, okay, it's like when you don't have them also you can know. So when you are not angry or when you are not this thing, actually when you have, but here Upavana, having seen a form with the eye, a bhikkhu experiences the form without experiencing the lust for the form. He understands that lust for forms does not exist internally. Thus there is in me no lust for forms internally. Since that is so, Upavana, the Dhamma is directly visible. So you are self-introspecting and kind of, honest to yourself, and you can watch yourself. So that way, even if you attain arhatship also, you can know that I am not getting angry, no greed at all, or no ego, no sense of I, or that you will know for yourself. Okay, 184. The world I want to read another one more, sorry, the Migajala Sutra, 172. I'm sorry, we have to go back. (172) Migajala Sutra. One 179 in the single is one. Then the Venerable Migajala approached the Blessed One, paid homage to him, sat down to one side, and said to him, Venerable Sir, it is said a lone dweller. In what way, Venerable Sir, is one a lone dweller, and in what way is one dwelling with a partner? There are, Migajala, forms cognizable by the eye that are desirable, lovely, agreeable, pleasing, sensually enticing, tantalizing. If a bhikkhu seeks delight in them, welcomes them, and remains holding to them, delight arises. When there is delight, there is infatuation. When there is infatuation, there is bondage. Bound by the fetter of delight, Migajala, a bhikkhu is called one dwelling with a partner. There are, Migajala, sounds cognizable by the ear, orders cognizable by the nose, tastes cognizable by the tongue, tangibles cognizable by the body, mental phenomena cognizable by the mind, that are desirable, lovely, agreeable, pleasing, sensually enticing, tantalizing. If a bhikkhu seeks delight in them, he is called one who dwells with a partner. Migajala, even though a bhikkhu who dwells thus resorts to forests and grows to remote lodgings where there are few sounds and little noise, desolate, hidden from people, appropriate for seclusion. He is still called one dwells with a partner. For what reason? Because craving is his partner and he has not abandoned it. Therefore he is called one dwelling with a partner. There are Migajala forms cognizable by the eye that are desirable, lovely, agreeable, pleasing, sensually enticing, tantalizing. If a bhikkhu does not seek delight in them, does not welcome them, and does not remain holy to them, delight ceases. When there is no delight, there is no infatuation. When there is no infatuation, there is no bondage. Released from the fetter of delight, Migajala, a bhikkhu is called a lone dweller. So he's all to all sense organs. Go fast in this. And the next page there, Migajala, even though a bhikkhu who dwells thus live in vicinity of a village, associating with bhikkhus and bhikkhunis, with male and female lay followers, with kings and royal ministers, with secretarian teachers and their disciples. So if you're staying even in Manhattan, or what is the other place? Oh, that's Brooklyn, Brooklyn, yeah. If you are not having any thoughts and you have no desires, you are living in jungle or you are living in solitude. You are living alone as a lone dweller. So this is okay. If you're here and imagining things and kind of thing in the silence, then you're living with somebody. Okay, 184, the one I showed before, the world, yes. Loke kila na the Loka. Loka Sutra. Page kiyada? 194. Then a certain bhikkhu approached the Blessed One and said to him, Venerable Sir, it is said the world. In what way, Venerable Sir, is it said the world? It is disintegrating bhikkhu, therefore it is called the world. And what is disintegrating? The eye bhikkhu is disintegrating. Forms are disintegrating. Eye consciousness is disintegrating. Eye contact is disintegrating. And whatever feeling arises with eye contact as condition, that too is disintegrating. The ear is disintegrating. The nose, the tongue, the body, the mind is disintegrating. Whatever feeling arises with the mind contact as condition, that too is disintegration. It is disintegrating bhikkhu, therefore it is called the world. In the next page, like Channa, that's 185. Ilaga page එක වගේ තියෙනවා Channa කියලා. 197, the single is one. Then the Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One and said to him, Venerable Sir, it is said the world. In what way, Venerable Sir, is it said the world? Whatever is subject to disintegration, Ananda. No, I'm sorry, the next one. Empty is the world. Okay. You go to the next sutta. Then the Venerable Ananda approached the Blessed One and said to him, Venerable Sir, it is said empty is the world. The same page, or I think just next to that. In the English one is 185. 196 in the single is 1. Venerable Sir, it is said empty is the world. In what way, Venerable Sir, it is said empty is the world? It is Ananda because it is empty of self and of what belongs to self, that it is said empty is the world. And what is empty of self and of what belongs to self? The I, Ananda, is empty of self. You have to imagine now, put it to your eyeball. Okay? And you say I, my eyeball, my eyes. Alright? So now just put this into apply, it's very helpful. The I, Ananda, is empty of self and of what belongs to self. Because it's changing. Okay? And forms are, no one has a golden eye. That never changes. Forms are empty of self and of what belongs to self. Eye consciousness is empty of self and of what belongs to self. Eye contact is empty. Like you see a chair or something, you break the eye whether the chair is inside. It's a perception, it's feelings. So like that you have to just have an idea, how empty it is. Empty of self and of what belongs to self. Eye consciousness is empty of self and of what belongs to self. Eye contact is empty of self and of what belongs to self. Whatever feeling arises with mind contact, now this for all the 6 sense organs, okay? So if you're really contemplating, try to do that. But now if you come to a point you have to read quickly by tomorrow, then you can go fast. Whatever feeling arises with mind contact as condition, whether pleasant or painful, or neither painful nor pleasant, that too is empty of self and of what belongs to self. It is Ananda because it is empty of self and of what belongs to self that it is said, empty is the world. Okay, this is very important one. Maybe we are finished now. 193 page. I told you can keep your legs straight, sit in a chair, don't strain your body, or bring a bed here. And then, yeah, something you can do to make yourself comfortable. I will not be upset with that. But don't sleep, you can use it to bring more pillows.
What's the name of the sutra?
The Dayad. The Dayad. Mahatyo me. This is a very good, very important one. Now the thinking again of what kind of thinking you must do for your contemplation is directly very good one. Maybe this is the last one also that I'm going to. Singaling. Sorry? 206. Huh? Oh. 206, make a Singaling. Huh? Yeah. English one, 193. Because I will teach you the Dayad. Listen to that. Is the English how we pronounce Dayad? Is correct? Correct. Please, I'll have to improve my English too. Hari eka dod. Eka Singalin ne. Now we are talking too much. We might be silent. Okay. There's a chance for you all to. The mouth has been. Very problem, no? Stopped. So try to minimize, not to share or help each other. No need. You help yourself. Okay. Try your best. Okay. I'm not forcing. I'm forcing and not forcing both together, right? So this is important for your good. How I stayed alone, just spoke few words with my teacher, came back. These are very helpful. They're life changing, no? Samsara changing actually. Those inspiration still echoes. I don't need my teacher, but I need the books because I know this is the one that created it. And this is like ocean. I realized that time, my teacher's instruction, I'm grateful. It was like a drop in the ocean. This was like ocean wisdom here. So this is how I felt. And also I felt this is the old Buddha. I must tell you some experience that first retreat I had. I felt this is the old Buddha. And all the Buddhism we are having now, I felt it is like all, like come after our, lack of concentration and lack of defilements. And this came to me like the old Buddha, the real old Buddha. So this was my own sort of the thing at that time. You have to be brainwashed from all the education, the conditioning. And for 14 days it was very, something was helpful. But 5 days also, you have good karma to come like that, but do it really strictly. 5 days. That will, And what bhikkhu is the Dayad? The eye and the forms, the ear and the sounds, the nose and the odors, and the tongue and the taste, the body and tactile objects, the mind and mental phenomena. This is called the Dayad. If anyone bhikkhus should speak thus, having rejected this Dayad, I shall make known another Dayad that would be a mere empty boast on the part. If he was questioned, he would not be able to reply, and further he would meet with vexation. For what reason? If someone says there's a seventh sense organ, some might say it's but still is the mind door. Okay? No, it's not the one I wanted to read. Okay, this second one is really important. Okay, the Dayad 2. This is a very important one for you to give an idea what type of contemplation you must do for your realization to happen. Even the Seed Sutta, Bija Sutra, they're all like that. Bhikkhu's consciousness come to be in dependence on a Dayad. Remember this. And how, bhikkhus, does consciousness come to be in dependence on the dyad? Independent on I and forms, there arises I consciousness. The I is impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. Forms are impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. Thus, this dyad is moving and tottering, impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. I consciousness is impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. The cause and condition for the rising of I consciousness is also impermanent. Now, this is very important. You see, he gives the answer and goes back to that, so that this thinking is very important. It depends on the cause and condition for the rising of I consciousness. What is that cause and condition? Sorry?
Craving.
No. Here he already gives the answer. He first explains, like look at the way Buddha
Yeah, like contact.
Yeah, these two.
Sense.
These two, okay? He already tells bhikkhus consciousness comes to be in dependence on a dyad. And how, bhikkhus, does consciousness come to be in dependent on a dyad? In dependent on the I and forms, there arises this I and form. Okay, then he explains the nature of I and forms. And then he asks again, goes back, this I and forms, there arises I consciousness. The I is impermanent. Now he's telling the I is impermanent, changing and becoming otherwise. Forms are impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. Thus this dyad is moving and tottering, impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. I consciousness is impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. The cause and condition for the rising of I consciousness is also impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. When bhikkhus I consciousness has arisen independent on a condition that is impermanent, how could it be permanent? So this is for your walking meditation, very important. You see, it looks very simple, but how he goes back and forward, showing the causes as impermanent, then asking again, what are the causes for this? And making you to picture it, sort of how it depends on this, and because it depends on an impermanent, this thing, it has to be impermanent. Okay. I consciousness. Then when bhikkhu I consciousness has arisen independent on a condition that is impermanent, how could it be permanent? The meeting, the encounter, the concurrence of these three things is called eye contact. Eye contact too is impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. The cause and condition for the rising of eye contact is also impermanent and changing, becoming otherwise. This is giving so many ways, links to see that is arising from causes. The causes are impermanent. The effect has to be impermanent. So by seeing this only, you get the real impermanent realization. So you don't think of the impermanent realization now. You think, you just do this thinking. Then that will happen automatically. When bhikkhus, contacted bhikkhus one feels, contacted one intends, contacted one perceives. Thus these things too are moving and tottering, impermanent, changing, becoming otherwise. It's not the perception, feeling. Now Buddha is talking about feeling, perception that we now see and now finish. Not like this. This is generally contemplating. Okay? Generally contemplating. Then this general contemplation brings the real wisdom generally about the whole. That experience will go to the, when you experience like that, it will apply to the past, future, present automatically. So you will be desireless to the past, future, present from all times. That's why it touches Nibbana. Contacted bhikkhus one feels, contacted one intends, contacted one perceives. Thus these things too are moving and tottering, impermanent, change. In dependence on the ear and sound, it applies to all other sense organs. Okay? They are very good exercises for vipassana, real vipassana. Real, this also included in the enlightened factors. So if you can place attention to the present moment and also do this Dhamma thinking, you can call it Dhamma thinking, okay? So, and if you can hold to that thinking, then it starts to become an enlightened factor. So that analyzing like this will be Dhamma Vijaya Bojjhanga. That means analyzing the Dhamma. Dhamma Vijaya means analyzing the Dhamma. All the suttas are like that actually, but like this is very... Okay, I think we'll be finishing now. I have to maybe take this book and there are some, I'll have to oh no, there is some more. Okay, 1 minute. 205, 204, not yours. $204. That is not yours. Oh, 219. 219. 119 Sinhala. 219. Sinhala, English one is 204. Okay, not yours. Wait a minute. I think we are going to the Salayatan, I think. Wait a minute. Okay.
It's on page 41.
Sorry, 140?
Those are not yours.
Wait, tell me 140?
41, way back. Way back at the beginning.
141.
41.
Huh?
41.
41?
Yes.
Wait 1 minute. I think I have gone beyond to you, not supposed to go that far. Okay. All right. Something I should be telling you tomorrow afternoon. I've gone to that. Okay. So I think it's all marked. That's what I thought. But okay, 151. Just I'll finish there. I have done more, right? So there's no harm in more work. Please quickly, I don't want to keep you. 151. Just this one. We have gone to the 6 sense organs. It should not be done today, but anyway, okay, 151. Done the wrong view. Identity view, මොකක් සක්කාය දිට්ඨිය වගේ සක්කාය මොන හරි නේද? සක්කාය ආත්ම දෘෂ්ටි හරි මන් දන්නේ නැහැ මෙතන. ඒකට did you find?
148, I think.
148, just check.
Sakkaya Ditti Sutta.
Yes, සක්කාය දිට්ඨි වගේ එනවා. දෙක තුනක් මෙනවා මේ අර wrong view මිච්ඡා දිට්ඨි නේද ඒක? ඊට පස්සේ සක්කාය දිට්ඨි එහෙම දෙන්නේ. That's the one, that one. What's the page?
148.
148. Okay, 151 in the English. We are finishing from here. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to lie. I'm going to try to finish from here. Okay? Wait, because my wrong view. Because when what exists by clinging to what, by adhering to what, does wrong view arise? Venerable Sir, our teachings are rooted in the Blessed One. When there is form, bhikkhus, by clinging to form, by adhering to form, now this is very important, it's good for your, it's very important to bear. When there is form, bhikkhus, by clinging to form, by adhering to form, wrong view arises. When there is feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness, by clinging to consciousness, by adhering to consciousness, wrong view arises. What do you think, bhikkhus? Is form, feeling, perception, mental formations, consciousness permanent or impermanent? impermanent, Venerable Sir. But without clinging to what is impermanent, suffering and subject to change, could wrong view arise? No, Venerable Sir. The next sutta also. Because when what exists by clinging to what, by adhering to what, does identity view arise? Identity view arise. Venerable Sir, our teachings are rooted in the Blessed One. When there is form, because by clinging to form, by adhering to form, identity view arises. When there is feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness, by clinging to consciousness, by adhering to consciousness, identity view arises. So wherever you get a sense of I, idea of I, then you know there is body there, feeling there, perception there. So that's why great Brahma or even any other higher states, and you still feel, you feel samadhi or concentrated, so pure, but still you feel a sense of I, of something, not maybe the body, then you know you're still in some grasp of a body, feeling, perception. Okay? So this is very interesting. At a point where you know that this is only a cause and effect, or then you are, actually, okay, that's Nibbana is there. View of self, the last one. The last sutta here. Because when what exists by clinging to what, by adhering to what, does view of self arise? Venerable Sir, our teachings are rooted in the Blessed One. When there is form, because by clinging to form, by adhering to form, view of self arises. When there is feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness, by clinging to consciousness, by adhering to consciousness, view of self arises. Okay, next one also is very good one. Because when what exists by clinging to what, by adhering to what, do the fetters, adherences and shackles arise? Venerable Sir, our teachings are rooted in the Blessed One. When there is form, because, actually when I'm reading this, I feel very much alive of the Buddha, and I feel bad that I little bit not tell you all the exact. I'm trying to, because I told I'm going to finish now. So anyway, Venerable Sir, our teachings are rooted in the Blessed One. When there is form, because by clinging to form, by adhering to form, the fetters, adherences and shackles arise. When there is feeling, perception, volitional formations, consciousness, by clinging to consciousness, by adhering to consciousness, the fetters, adherences and shackles arise. So you can remember now, you can think in your family situation also. You're so attached to your children, your wives, your husbands or dogs or whatever. So that what is it that you're so attached? The body, feelings, perceptions somewhere. Okay? So it is shackling. And because when what exists by clinging to what, by adhering to what, do the fetters, adherences, shackles and holding arises. That is finish. Okay? I think we finish. Alright. I don't want to look at the time. So, when is possible, if there's enough time, try to contemplate. Okay, that's the real thing. And that's if you want to get this special vision one day, to at least get some taste of it. And then when you don't have time to cover the page I told. Now some people might read only what I read, not like that, okay? I hope this is not misunderstood. මේ වැරදියට මේවා කරගන්න එපා. දන්නවනේ අර කියවපු page එක වෙනකල් කියවන්න ඕනේ. සමහර තැන්වල they have read only those what I have read. ඒක mistake කරගන්න එපා. අර කියපු තැන වෙනකල් කියවන්න. In the one where I have told to read, please try to complete tomorrow. I think it can be done tomorrow there, day after tomorrow there, and the day after day. Okay, full days, right?
Yes.
Monday, half day.
Okay, today's
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Today whole day you can do. Today whole day you can do. Okay? No, sorry, I mean tomorrow whole day. All right. Tomorrow whole day you can do. Right? Then today whole night you can do. Okay. So tomorrow you can do the whole day. You can now, don't rush. All right, finish the Kanda Vagga, that's wonderful. That tomorrow you have whole day, you can do the contemplation, but don't go more than maybe 1.5 hours from 6 to 12 in the morning and 12 to 6 in the evening. Okay, for Samadhi with Metta or Anapanasati. Do it. Definitely do for 1.5 hours like, and the rest you try to read, contemplate. Okay, do that simply. And tomorrow, end of the day you have. Okay, no rush. All right? And so that you can do more contemplation. If you find you can't, then you